Welcome to the Out There channel, live stream 449 here with Robert Farmer. We'll be with you after the short intro. We only got one person for us, I think.
I'm searching, I'm loving, I'm finding love, I'm hiding, I'm searching, I'm loving, I'm finding love.
Don't stop. Let the weight control your body. At the beginning, there was written.
I'm still working on the new intro. Gonna work on a new soundtrack. There's lots to do really, but it's just a matter of finding the energy and the creativity to do it, so, you know.
The latter being the most important.
Yeah. Down we go into the studio. What we're up to now. Good to be back. And CPU wasn't too bad, I don't think. Let's get up to 100%, but don't think it caused any problems. We should be back at a desktop in a minute. Here we go. Intro's done with, and we're sitting on 93% CPU. Just doing what we're doing now. Most of it's processing video, of course, because of this lean laptop hardware. So yeah, better type up some side hellos. Hello, anyone out there? I don't even know what we're doing today. We're just said we're just doing a thing with Robert. So it's all over to you, whether you got the topics or not.
So we know how to start.
Welcome to the OT channel. You should be good at it now, being off the cuff topics. I suppose I've got better with time too, and more confident. Although I still struggle with some words and eyesight problems.
Oh God, yeah. We can't all be totally gifted speakers, Paul. You know.
Yeah. You got to give them something to hate you with. Say that you got crap English or whatever.
Most of us have to struggle through the best we can.
Yeah, Robert Talks, I'll just call it, and we'll leave it to you to talk about stuff. Talks UFOs, etc. There we go. I thought there might be some people joining us. It normally takes about 15 minutes time to get the email, you see. General email alerts are normally every 15 minutes, you know. I use a thing called Pop Peeper, and I connect it to all my Gmail and whatnot. I got like 10 different email accounts for various things, you know, your personal and website. So anything that comes in on those, it takes about 15 minutes to check each one of them. Well, it only takes a few seconds to check them. And it just brings down the headers and just tells you if you got new email on any of the accounts. So go and check out Pop Peeper if you want to have a tray alerter. And I find it a really secure email system too, because you can say use HTML and disable scripts and stuff, and you're not likely to get infected through the email just using Pop Peeper. It was actually meant to be just like a train notification, basic email thing, but it's grown into a bigger thing now where it's got spell checker and stuff. And it's free to start with, but if you want all the extra nice options, you have to upgrade. But it's not much, it's only like $20 for a license. Hello, JD's joining us. At least we got a mod
JD.
in the house today.
Yeah,
I
I'll
need
have to
you.
open up a YouTube thing here so I can type.
Yeah, okay. Needed JD yesterday. We had a few trolls on because I was doing a
Thing
bash
here
on
so I can.
secure teams. So yeah, I'll leave it over to you. I'll bring up the browser just in
Oh,
case you want to post stuff.
okay.
At least you got Discord running at the same time. You can post it in the Discord, and I can then copy it across. Instead of
Like
unless you want to do the side. Well, you
James.
could try the side chat, but I know Google keeps messing it up.
All right.
I find you have to right click and say paste as plain text now. Sometimes for it to show up.
Oh, okay.
We got Michael King
Yeah,
joining
I noticed the
us.
side chat last week wouldn't let me use any links.
Yeah, you have to do a right click and then do a paste and a plain text.
Okay.
All the browsers offer that now, from what I've seen anyway. Edge,
Oh,
Brave, and Chrome.
okay.
How's everybody out there? It's a fine day here, a fine morning here in New Zealand. It must be like 24 or 25 in the bedroom here, nice and cozy. Celsius.
Not so here. It's actually a little chilly now. Best
Yeah,
of
we're
our
going.
summer has gone, Paul. We're in the
Our
middle of
summer's only just
September now.
coming.
Well, actually, we're
Yeah,
getting
but
towards the end of September now.
you
So
notice how
I've
everybody
actually
was
got the fan on tonight.
Yeah, you know, everyone goes on about climate change now on the news and everything. Everything's climate change, where
Oh, yeah.
there's no science to back it up whatsoever.
No, the science has lied to us on many occasions when it comes to climate change.
The scientists have that have done research. They offer the research. You know, there might be PhD students. They offer the research, and then they'll cherry pick the results from the students, saying here's proof of climate change. A lot of them come forward since then saying, no, that's not what my results said. They just cherry picked it for their own agenda. Of course, you're probably not allowed to talk about this because, you know, what happens with Google, they censor everything. You can't have the truth out there. From what I see, whenever you have someone say, oh, this is the worst flood since 200 years ago, then you say, well, how can that be climate change? Was there climate change 200 years ago too? You know, they don't see the logic in it, you know. Was it actually a worse flood than 200 years ago, or was it actually slightly less worse, you know?
Anyway, so,
the other thing
I
is,
mean,
I think it's too young. Eventually, like weather, they can predict weather really accurate now. I think it's going to take probably 1,000 years or more of data collection on climate and understanding how the sun and all that works before we can actually predict climate. Or
but listen, there's one thing, Paul, that there's no doubt, there's no question of human pollution is getting out of hand.
Yeah, you know, the famous scientist that's a skeptic about climate change has always said, the Dyson guy, his quote was, humans can't control climate, but they can control pollution. That's always been this quote.
Yeah.
So the thing we should be concentrating on is getting rid of probably old-fashioned fuels and where we can. But could you imagine driving a bulldozer on batteries? I don't think it would work. You know, you got the D11s that's chewing up land for mining. Somehow I don't think lithium batteries are going to be able to power a bulldozer all day long when they're talking about $5,000 of diesel American a day to drive one of those things. Well, actually, I think it's $15,000 of fuel to drive it all day long and stripping the ground up in Alaska. Because I've been watching the gold mining shows, right? And you pick up all these nice, interesting snippets of information. But yeah, you know, you're looking at amazing power of a diesel engine. So you ain't going to replace everything. Oil's never going to be replaced. It's always got its place for producing plastics and even I think they use it to produce artificial aspirin. They make aspirin from it, you know, instead of taking it from bark of trees and stuff. But so I think I read somewhere about that they're using it to make meds. But anyway, what was the other thing about climate change? Sure, man's going to have a wee bit of impact, and no one's actually denied that, of course. Climate is always changing. That's all you have to say to these people. Climate's always changing. Man can't control it. Man can control pollution, and that sure shuts them up, really, because it's all true. But yeah, all these podcasts going on about climate change, and we've got to change our ways and go electric. We haven't got the perfect solution. And then they're talking about fusion power could be disastrous for the world. It could go wrong, and that was meant to be coming in 2025, which ain't too far away. I think they almost got it working, you know, and fusion power, which is the old fission power, is what we currently got, which makes wastewater, a radioactive wastewater, and as a byproduct. But then spent Iranian rods now they found another use for by making nuclear batteries that last 10 years, and you could have them in your laptop. Sounds like a good idea to me. By using a layer of diamond layer, which causes a piezoelectric effect as the decay, the background radiation decay, what's left in the rods interacts with it. So yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff being researched still. I think they were looking at for using in space, you know, like moon bases and stuff. But you've heard of carbon batteries being the future, so a layer of diamond is obviously carbon in a special molecule structure, right? So, and it's that molecule structure that allows electricity to form, or ions or whatever. So yeah. So what are they saying in the side chat? UK is almost opposite side of the world. Yes, that's true. And we're doing a live stream from top to bottom.
Yeah, Michael King's in Scotland, even cold in Wales.
So, what the UFO topics are we going to look at? Or we could just rant about the world.
I mean, I don't know.
Okay, so let's start with. I'll kick it off then. What do you think of Lou's book coming out?
Oh, that was a formality. Now, listen, the most important thing here is he has said consistently over and over again that he won't do anything to survive. Okay? I can guarantee you, when that book is done, that's going to be handed over to the DOD. It's going to be vetted, and anything that they think is anything like a national security risk is going to have to come out. So whatever Lou's book says, it's going to be a diluted version of events. Make no mistake about that. I mean, I've got no problem with the guy making money. I think he's put a hell of a lot of work in. I think the subject's in a heck of a lot of a better place now than what it was in December 2017. I wish him all the best. I hope he makes a few million from it. Good for him. Apparently he's gone well into his life savings, if that's to be believed. I hope he gets some recompense for it. But I also hope it's not a farewell, that he stays with the subject and he keeps pushing as hard as he can, because I've got no question that all these things that have been happening recently, not just with the task force now being expanded, and giving more staff, more finances, what have you. Also, this thing that's happened now with the United Nations, I think that has got something to do with him as well. And, of course, silent partner, Christopher Mellon. So that's my view on the book. But a lot of people aren't seeing it that way.
No, I see it as trying to make money from ufology again, which kind of makes it less serious now, because before it used to be he wanted the answers. Now he's making money from a book for his own personal wealth, right? But really, maybe it's been marketed wrong. Maybe it should be that to fund the next project, I've written a book that summarises everything I've said in interviews, plus added a wee bit more. And if you want to fund our next launch, you can do that by buying the book. So that's how it should have been marketed. Then it doesn't sound like a money grab again, you know. And now everybody's saying, "Oh, yeah, it's all about the money." After all, it was always a scam.
But you know, come on, it was inevitable he was going to write a book. I mean, that just had to happen, didn't it?
It was during the TV scene, right? So I'm not sure how much money the TV makes over books, or whether it's any better. But certainly a movie would have.
TVs, you mean?
Yeah, I think a movie would sell at least
300,000.
No, but because if they make their own,
that would have gone towards TTSA in there. Absolutely, yeah. I don't think they've got long for this world, you know. TTSA.
I'm not sure if they can make their own TV show, because you know what happens is they sign all these contracts where they can't go with a competitive channel without negotiation, and they might be stuck with doing a TV show, but the book obviously wasn't included in that. So yeah, I can see there'd be a lot of red tape and politics behind the scenes when you hear about people signing contracts and they can't talk about their personal experiences to you on a podcast, but they can talk to someone from Hollywood. Where there could be a
lot going on with what is actually in that book, you know. Because he's got Danny Sheehan on the side, and I've got no doubt that the content of that book is going to cause some controversy, and some people aren't going to like what's in it. And just how much can he say? That's the big question.
Yeah,
because I'll be honest with you, I'd buy the book. I will buy the book. But if I find it disappointing, well, I'm bloody well going to say so as well, you know?
It might be $36, you never know.
Yeah, it could be 35 quid. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 35 quid.
Yeah.
But if it's 600 pages and it's 35 quid.
Yeah.
But if it's 200 pages, I'm going to smell of that, because I don't think there's going to be much in it then. Because I can see an awful lot of padding in it, to be honest. I can see there being an awful lot about Lou before we knew Lou. You see what I mean? I think the book is going to be padded out that way about his life and intelligence and what he was doing and all that kind of stuff. I can definitely see plenty of that being in there. You know, an introduction to the man and where he's come from, and and then he'll go into ATIP, of course, and what he discovered at ATIP, that is going to be the crux of the book. That's going to be the mainstay of the book. And then, of course, we might learn something about what happened after he left ATIP and what was going on inside the DOD, where they were deleting his emails. Apparently, I don't think they deleted them at all. But I think we'll find out about something like that, a bit more about how the Inspector General's office got involved.
Yeah.
So it could be quite intriguing stuff, you know. Let's be honest, man.
Still, is it progressing us to the evidence of UFOs and aliens? Right?
No, probably, Paul. Probably not. Probably not.
And that's the whole problem. We wanted, everybody wants the disclosure, and it hasn't really happened, really.
Well, it's this disclosure is it's a myth. It's a chimera. It's never going to happen. The best you can hope for is a small d disclosure. But if you honestly think they're going to start talking about abductions, oh, guess what? They're taking people out of their beds in the middle of the night. They're conducting horrific experiments on them. Okay, most of the time they put them back intact. But these people usually suffer psychological damage and physical effects as well. By the way, have a nice day. They can't say anything like that. It's never going to happen. Forget about it. It's a myth. Disclosure. Disclosure, you'll only find yourself. You're not going to get it from the government. But of course, this thing with the United Nations is a good thing. Let's see how it progresses, because one country controlling a narrative is never a good thing, especially when it's the United States.
Yeah.
I mean, 75 years of secrecy. Jeez, come on. And you think they're just going to do this big U-turn? I mean, what they've already done a U-turn, but do you think they're really going to go much further? I think the most they're going to say is UFOs are real. They're not Russian, they're not Chinese, and they're not ours. They haven't quite said that yet, have they?
No.
They've, and I think once they do that, I think that's the next step, and I think they will get. I think we will get to that stage.
Yeah.
But I don't think we'll get to the stage where they're going to start talking about animal mutilations and abductions. And animal mutilations is quite a disturbing element of this phenomenon when the more you look at it. I mean, I've been reading quite a lot about it recently, Damn it, have I got the book here? No, I don't think I have. Anyway, I can't remember what it was called now. But there was, there's a few cases where these cattle are actually put back alive. Now, even though they've been mutilated, they're still alive, but they only find them alive if they catch them very early after the abduction, because they're going to expire fairly soon because of, the blood's drained and everything. But it makes you think, whatever's happening to them, whoever's doing this, they're doing it while they're alive. Now, that turns out to be alien. How the hell do you tell the public that?
Yeah. Well, I've not heard any cases where they've been found alive, or just barely alive. How can you be barely alive with your balls cut off, or your utter, or what do you call it? And,
well, that's a fact. They found a couple of calves like that, Paul, in Montana. Now, there was another thing as well. When they catch them very early after the abduction, they were covered in a material. It was like a gel, okay, right, with gelatin substance that covered the whole body. It's been taken away, it's analysed, and it's completely unknown. Now, that's a part of cattle mutilations that you don't hear about. They don't know what that substance is, and it dissipates really quickly.
Well, I've never
I don't know what the hell that is. But it also reminded me of, do you remember the case with Zygmunt Adamski when he was found on that coal pile in 1980 in North Yorkshire? Medorgan, I think it was. Yeah, he had the same kind of thing on his neck. They said it was like an ointment. The police took that away. They had that looked at, analysed. It came back completely unknown substance, and whatever the results were have been classified to this day. And we've got, I do another show on I usually do a Wednesday. I've done a Wednesday and a Thursday this week. But next week on the Wednesday, we've got, oh my God, I forgot, Alan Godfrey, the abductee from North Yorkshire, who was involved in that case with Zygmunt Adamski. So I'll make sure that that question gets asked about the that mysterious substance that was found on Adamski's body. Should be interesting. He's getting on a bit now, Alan Godfrey. He'd be around 75, and he's still in a battle with the police force. What they done to him was awful. They really singled him out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes sense because we don't know anything about human abductions either, because they keep some of the key information private so they can use it for signature verification. Is this person mental? Does his experience suggest a brain problem versus actual alien abduction versus drugs or something? And there are a lot of key characteristics that a lot of abductees tell, which is not known publicly, but is known by the researchers. And I guess that makes sense. There'll be some stuff that we don't know about cattle mutilations. That's like a magician's code. You don't tell it to the public. So whether Linda Moulton Howe knew about all this stuff that you're talking about now, she's never revealed it, has she? As far as I know.
I don't know if she found any of the cattle in that state, though.
Yeah.
But it's still going on.
Yeah.
It's still happening. I've seen some recent reports from where are we now? September. I think they were late June.
Right.
And oh god, yeah, they were absolutely classic animal mutilation.
Right. But the thing is, it's mostly animals that humans eat, right? It's not like you find
I don't
mutilated.
know. It's even happened. They've even found mice and elk butchered in exactly the same way. I say butchered. I shouldn't use that word butchered because it's what they do is too precise. It's like they've used lasers.
Right. Well, I've only heard about horses, cattle, sheep, goats,
mice,
maybe.
Honestly, goats, cats, dogs.
Dogs, maybe, yeah. Cats, I don't know if I heard about.
It's extremely rare, though.
Yeah, apart from that, there's not much else I've heard, as far as I can remember. So, yeah. Well, I selected few animals,
I remember the book I read now. It was called Mystery on the Prairie. And I can't remember the author now. Damn it, though! But he was a copper. And he spent his whole life with one of his partners working on this thing, whatever it is. And do you know? It doesn't make any sense. It's the government. It just doesn't. It doesn't add up at all. They've never been caught, not once. Whoever's doing this has never ever been caught.
Yeah, but recent TV programs where there's recent cattle being mutilated, they did actually film what they believe was a stealth helicopter where it makes hardly any sound. Could you imagine a helicopter? Sure. They figured out somehow that the blades can be silent now on helicopters, on military helicopters. Now, we haven't seen those on TV news and stuff, but it might be these special helicopters. There's like a secret thing, so you can do stealth crossing the border and taking people that are hostage back out again and stuff. You know?
The only thing is like subduing a cow, airlifting it, putting it back. That all sounds real clumsy to me. Yeah, now, there's been a couple of cases, Paul, listen now, there's been a couple of cases where a farmer has passed one of his animals, he's gone on a walkabout, 10, 20 minutes later, he's come back, the same animal is mutilated. Yeah?
I know they did put it down to some crazy human that's going around farms doing it.
Oh, come on, there's no way there's no way that's done by. I mean, surgeons have tried to replicate these cuts. They've done their best, and they can't do it for the life of them. So if you think it's some nutter devil worshipper, that's getting out in the middle of nowhere, doing that and leaving without ever getting caught once or seen even once. No, I don't believe that.
Yeah.
Although we know that these people exist, but they've been caught as well, you know.
Yeah.
And the mutilations just aren't anything like. What they'll do is cut an ear off or stab the animal, sick bastards, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There was some in France recently, last year, I think. They were awful, but they caught a couple of the people that were doing it. But they weren't anything like what we'd call cattle mutilation phenomena.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the cases are just totally baffling. Where
It might be that they got interrupted, right, and had to and sort of went invisible, you know, but they might have been there. So
yeah,
when they discovered the animal still alive, somehow they might have a way to hypnotize it with frequencies or EMF to the brain, and it sort of puts them into a calm state where they operate without any anesthetic, right? And then they get interrupted as a possibility.
Did you know there was one case in the States, okay, where 14 loggers seen an elk, it was, actually being lifted into a UFO. They said the UFO was like a kind of a rectangle shape, and it put down this beam and it caught the elk in the beam. And they said when the elk was being lifted, its head was on one side, like it had fallen asleep. It wasn't struggling at all. And it carried this elk off. It didn't go up into the craft. It was in the beam. It was still in the beam. And it went out of sight then. Now, the most unfortunate thing was, the logging crew were of Spanish origin. Right? So when it came to interviewing them, all hell let loose. They had to get in a Spanish translator. And he wasn't the best. And the statements came out a little bit broken, and the worst of it was these guys were still in shock. They were panicking because they didn't want to work there now. They'd seen this thing lift up a 1,200-pound elk. Well, they knew full well it could lift them up, no problem, couldn't it? So they refused to work on their own, only in the group, and that wasn't the way they were supposed to be working to carry out the contract, you know. But it's you can find that case. I think it's from the 1970s. I'm not 100% now. I wish I had more recall on that one now. But yeah, I put it up on my Facebook page about 4 months ago, and it had a lot of comments. Yeah, it's an interesting incident, and it's not the only one where actually a UFO is actually seen lifting one of these things up in a beam of light, you know. But yeah, you still can't rule the military out altogether. I know, but I just don't know why they're doing it this way. It's drawing attention to themselves. I mean, surely the military could just afford to buy a bunch of cattle from the farmer, you know, and then conduct the thing in clandestinely without having to make this kind of fuss. I mean, the whole behaviour of the thing is kind of alien in its nature.
Yeah, I just don't know about abductions. Whether it's alien, black ops, or combination.
You mean human abductions now?
No, whether it's humans doing it with advanced technology that we don't know about.
Yeah, but
or
do you mean cattle?
Technology.
Do you mean cattle mutilations now?
Yeah.
Okay, because you were looking at a page there with the Betty and Barney Hill case on.
Yeah, it's a history thing. I was trying to find the elk. Seeing if it come up in the search. Yeah. State elk abduction. What's that one?
Yeah, I wouldn't go trying to find that case now, you know. It could be difficult.
It's probably as probably in Spanish. A lot of stuff probably hasn't been translated. Probably.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll just waste a whole bunch of time while we could be talking.
Yeah, well, you were talking. I was just trying to search. Yeah, I guess there's going to be more TV shows coming out soon because it's still a hot topic, right? Makes money.
Yeah, well, you know me and TV shows, Paul. I'm never the twain with those things because they're dramatized and they have to find something because, and if they don't find anything, they're going to make something up. So I prefer hard research. And I tend to go for original sources, and I don't find TV shows a good source of information. So I stay well clear. It just pollutes my mind as far as I'm concerned.
I kind of like Expedition Bigfoot, though. It seems more scientific and better organized.
Yeah, some of them are better than others.
And not just entertainment. This film's not about entertainment. It's about finding answers, which we're not getting.
Yeah, no, but you've paid for hundreds of hours of production. Yeah, because remember, most of it ends up on a cutting room floor. So you've got to find 8 hours of good stuff, haven't you? And what if that 8 hours of good stuff isn't there? Then, you get the usual drama. Just pollutes my mind.
Yeah. The way you see it on YouTube, though, you think UFOs are flying all around us, and that's just not simply the truth.
No. I mean, every video, every UFO picture is guilty until proven innocent. I mean, there probably is one or two good videos flying out around there, but good luck in finding them amongst all the garbage. Like, it doesn't matter how good the UFO video is; it can always be questioned. It's never going to be definitive evidence.
Yeah.
I mean, where are we now? We're nearly 4 years on since the videos in the Nimitz encounter.
Well, I got to throw a spanner.
They weren't all from, and the people are still arguing over them. Still, and I'm getting fed up with it now. I really am.
I want to throw a spanner into the works here just to change it slightly.
Yeah.
Now, if you've heard of Bigfoots flying UFOs, right? That there might be star pilots and they come here to hunt or whatever. Maybe come through portals from another universe. Now, what if they're the ones that doing the mutilations? Because it makes perfect sense because they like eating deer. Is what we hear often. They like hunting deer. They can snap them, and they can pull the guts out of them just like that with the bare strength, right?
What?
Yeah, they can snap the neck of a deer. Run up to it, grab it, and just snap the neck, which is unheard of with any other bipedal hunter.
Who can do this?
Bigfoots.
Oh, Bigfoots, right? Yeah. Well, that's funny you should say that.
If they fly UFOs as well, there could be a connection between Bigfoots and mutilations.
Well, okay, I'm open to that. Right, I am actually open to that.
So that's me out of the box thinking there, looking at the connections. No one's actually ever suggested that it could be Bigfoots who are aliens, because each of the people that go Bigfoot hunting discounts it being paranormal or alien related, which is kind of crazy in my mind. There's no way you can rule it out from the stuff we've seen, even on Expedition Bigfoot, seems to suggest otherwise. And of course, they might be not seeing it as mutilations. They might see it as hunting, right, and killing animals in their way. You know, like Islam kills their animals in certain ways. Bigfoots might do it as well. So they may drain the blood and drink it, right, or whatever they want to do with it. And they just leave parts behind that they don't really like to eat too much for other animals. They might not see it as being wasteful, you see, and they see that so it's natural life, you know, where one being one entity or whatever you want, a life form can keep on going, keep other life forms
don't forget,
alive.
Don't forget now with the UFO Bigfoot connection. The Presque Island case, which happened in Pennsylvania in 1966, there was 2 teenagers and another 2 in their 20s, 2 couples, and they were on a beach on Presque Island, Pennsylvania, and they actually seen a UFO land. Now that wasn't bad enough. Out of it came Bigfoot, gave the car a good shake, and ran off into the woods. Now, that's a hell of a story, isn't it? But there's more to it than that. There was landing trace evidence from the UFO, and there was also footprints from the Bigfoot. Now, the next day, all hell let loose. You had NICAP there, you had the police force there, and you had Project Blue Book there. And you can actually see the pictures online yourself, if you know how to find them, of the footprint of the Bigfoot and the indentation of the UFO in the sand. And the UFO, they worked out with the amount of pressure that made the indentation in the sand, the UFO had to have weighed between 800 and 1,000 pounds. That's a solid case, you know. That is your very best case to put Bigfoot and UFO together. But there's been others.
Yeah, it's a bit hard to get footprint evidence in a forest, though. Because
it left it on the sand, Paul.
Yeah, normally in the forest, though, the ground's hard and got wood and a lot of covering on it. Well, in the sand, it's different, or mud, or near rivers. You normally find the footprints near riverbeds, don't you? Where they've been there drinking or wading across, you know. And yes, it's quite interesting. All the stuff, all the stories out there. They can't all be crackpots at producing them. Whether it's like a lost human race or another subset of human race, who knows? But they do fit in. They do fit in with the 8-foot giants, though. When you think about Bigfoots, they do look like 8-foot giants when you see description of them. But whether 8-foot giants were so hairy, I don't know. Could it be like the 8-foot giants were actually Bigfoots and humans' DNA merging together? So the villagers had these 8-foot strong men that existed at one stage that helped them build their houses and villages and move those big, large blocks quite easily, probably. So you never know. There could be a whole connection of things that's just way off that no one's ever thought about before. Bigfoot, the big, tall, 8-foot people living with the Indians, we never heard whether they had lots of hair on their skin or they had bare faces, but often you hear Bigfoot's stories where they're all hairy apart from their face, right? Which kind of makes sense, but they said a lot of the time when they see the Bigfoots now, when you see the stories, that they said they're liken some sort of ghillie suit, you know, the camouflage suits and it's got all sticks and things, and it's like it's part of them. And they've got sticks embedded into the fur and twigs and camouflage, and they simply disappear in front of them like it's a cloak as well.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. That's when it starts going away from. I'll just give you my take on it now. Bigfoot is not a primate. No way, it can't be.
No.
How often have we seen it? Not me personally, but how many witness reports they've seen this thing disappear in a flash of light? Other people have seen one surrounded by orbs, and other people have called them like Christmas tree lights. And all of a sudden, you've got perfectly good footprints, and they stop dead. Yeah. And that shouldn't have happened.
I think it's quite a lot of stories where they see it disappear.
All the time. So if it is a primate, one, it's hide and seek world champion. Two, it's walking around with its own poo bags because it never leaves a mess anywhere.
Yeah.
And three, they must have to bury their dead.
Yeah. But then they did ask a scientist on one of these shows whether could an animal form cloaking where the hair on the outside could actually absorb light, so become invisible. And he said, it's possible that the being could evolve some sort of natural, camouflage like that. If you can imagine that the hairs...
It's a hell of a thought, that.
Yeah, it's way out there, isn't it? That hair could be then made into charged into a stiff fibre and somehow made reflective in a way where it absorbs the light as it hits it. And it bounces around these hairs and originally absorbs all the light, so it never reflects back, so you end up invisible. Or something like that, I guess. But scientists did say it was possible that they're working on something similar in the labs. That nature may have already figured it out, is what he said, I think. But yeah, that's fascinating too, scientist-wise. But that's the thing, we need more scientists in these fields to take it seriously and prove it exists or don't, or prove beyond doubt that it don't exist, and it's actually some sort of imagination thing that happens, where
imagination. Well, the imagination doesn't leave footprints, does it? Doesn't leave broken trees either.
Yeah.
Imagination doesn't throw boulders.
No, but what do you think of that latest Bigfoot video that came out with from a TV thing? I thought, it looks very suspect myself, where it looked like a normal human in a suit. It's only like 5 seconds long or something, and it's in open walking along, and they film it. Have you seen it? It's been around all the UFO channels.
Oh no, I haven't seen it. So it's been doing the rounds, is it?
Yeah, I got it on my live show somewhere, because it was on third phase. Let's see. I'll see if we can find it quickly for you. And it'll be this one here, probably. There we go. This is the latest Bigfoot video. And they just repeat it over and over. I'll just mute it, though.
Okay.
Okay, let's see how the CPU goes. 100%.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not it.
Oh God, the channel looks hokey already.
I'll zoom in and see how much CPU we got. So it's new NVTV, whatever that is. New TV. and they slowed it down here.
Indeed.
To me, it kind of looks like a small person in a suit to me. Because the hands should be down to where the knees are, right? When you look at Bigfoot stories.
If we knew exactly where it was, yes, so we could measure that.
And you know how it doesn't even notice the cameraman. Normally, even in the early ones where the Patterson Gilbert, or whatever it's called, the Bigfoot looks around at the camera at the last minute before running off.
Oh, yeah, the Patterson Gimlin film.
Yeah.
It was from 1959.
But here, the arms don't look long enough. The hands don't look long enough, though. I think they should be above the knees in this. And it kind of looks like this is like a two-piece suit, and looks like it comes over this thing. It's like long hair, almost. Comes over the back, like it's not zipped or anything. It's a good way to hide a lining. And the feet here look really human, with the arch, and almost looks like it's got pointy. Almost looks like it's got pointy shoes on.
It looks like it's wearing shoes. Yeah. Doesn't look like a foot at all, does it?
No, but it is probably the best footage we've seen. But I think it's a fake, of course.
It is quite convincing, I must say.
Yeah, it is convincing. And that's all we got, you know.
Okay.
So whether there's more coming out, I don't know.
And why did they stop filming when they did?
Well, these are all the red flags, you see.
Yeah.
Hey, Jasper, how's it going? Blex, how's it going? According to our stats, I think Google must be working on the stats counter because it's not showing up correctly today. So I'm not sure how many's watching, maybe 3. But anyway, we're just showing Robert that latest footage. And then there was that silly one where it looked like a guy in waders was walking across the river. This one looks more convincing. And the wader man, I'm not sure if I can find that one for you or not. Because their thumbnails are not always about what's inside the video, right? Probably gone past it already. They do put out a lot of rubbish.
What are you looking for here?
I'm looking for the older video they put out a month ago, and you can tell it's a guy in waders. I'll just see if I can find it. There's actually a video as well. People at a water hole or something, and it's walking across the river. No, not that one. Scary Bigfoot sighting. Here we go. This one. Buckle up! Clearest Bigfoot footage ever. Okay, here we go. I'll keep it muted and see if we can find the parts, because they don't use chapters. I think it'll probably be at the end, will it? Like the last one. Here we go. So I was just zooming on that one. Now, they reckon this is Bigfoot. I'm not so convinced. I think it's a guy carrying maybe a kill, like a reindeer, something. Looks like if they zoom and pause it and zoom in, right?
What?
I think that's a guy. See, and you can see it's got normal. Yeah, he's got something in his hand. Whether it's
looks like a child.
It could be a child. It could be. Oh yeah, it's a child, isn't it? I can see the leg of the child coming down.
Clearly. He's
And you can
just a
see
big
the
bloke.
big bloke. It might even be in waders, actually. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
he's
looks
got
like
something on his bottom half, yeah.
could be waders. It could be a swimsuit. You know. But yeah, if
Why the
you look
hell, yeah, why the
carefully,
hell
you
are
can
you looking
see.
at this?
Well, this is on third phase. They claim this to be a Bigfoot. You can see the leg of the child going this way
Oh,
and
good God.
holding. I thought it was carrying something, but I never actually saw the child until I saw this image because that's
Oh, the
probably
hell do you
one of the.
expect from those clowns?
You can see it's not furry. You can see it's got normal human skin, right? Well, if you listen to them, you can have a laugh. You know, they are entertaining in that way. Just play a clip of it, and they're zooming in more. So he looks like an old man there on the side here now. Definitely pink skinned, and it looks like he's got waders on. And like you said, we can't see the child now because the angle's changed a wee bit. But yeah, it kind of looks like maybe a normal Caucasian man, maybe Mexican or even something like that, even possible. So who knows? Are they going to talk?
The infamous Bigfoot. We're seeing it clear. You can see the Bigfoot making its way across the river.
Terrible, Mike. They're not going to talk about it. Normally they're talking about
Is
it.
this CGI? Is this the real deal here?
Yeah, this was captured in Michigan. You know what? It looks real to me. What it is, I still can't tell you, but it does resemble Bigfoot. Some people might say it's a deer.
Bullshit. The other one they did does,
Total
but this
bullshit.
yeah, that one's just cobblers, right? But anything for money, right?
Yeah. Who's Peter Kane's dog training channel?
I'll
Does that
just
have
zoom
anything
into
to do
the
with
comments. Hi, I'm good doing the laundry. You're in Germany, wasn't it, Jasper?
Self-proclaimed president of the Bigfoot Society. Okay.
I thought that guy was Moneymaker or something.
Yeah, I believe so.
Ring a bell with you?
Yeah,
No.
there's just as much corruption in the Bigfoot world than there is in the UFO world.
Yeah, it's
From what I
America
understand,
after all.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm told. That's what I'm told.
Yeah. So who would have thought I would have dragged you into Bigfoots again?
Yeah.
So what's the next subject you want to talk about?
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you about my week. Okay.
Really?
Now, I normally do a show with a channel called The Invited. I go on a Wednesday, and we generally have a guest. Anyway, I went on Wednesday and Thursday this week. Now, Thursday was fantastic. We had Jane Rendell on. He's just wrote a book now. It's available on Amazon and all that stuff. You know, it's called UFOs Before Roswell, and he's talking about the Foo Fighters. And he focuses basically on the Atlantic side of the whole thing. You know, he's actually done work on the Pacific side and the other theatres of war. He's got a load of stuff from that, but he thought it was too much all to put into one book, so we just focused on the Atlantic side. Now he's an interesting guy, and he done some great research. And what he does, he doesn't try to tell you what it is, but he does tell you what it can't be. So he goes through all the German technology that they had at the time that could have been responsible for these Foo Fighter sightings, and he rules them out one by one. He's not just a UFO guy; he's an aviation guy. That was his his passion for years, I believe. He's from up north, somewhere near Scotland, I believe. But anyway, that was a fantastic show. The invited live stream, I'll just give another plug there. You can catch me on a Wednesday, but that's what I was going to get to. The Wednesday, I didn't know until Tuesday night. We had someone coming on called Vanessa Cole. Does that name ring a bell with you, Paul?
No.
No. Well, it rang a bell with me, and I just had a bad feeling, you know. And I thought, right, so I'm on tomorrow with someone called Vanessa Cole. Oh dear, I didn't like him. And I knew she was an experience or an abductee. Something along those lines, but I couldn't pin her down.
Yeah.
So I scoured the internet and I found an interview with her, and I thought, oh, no. Yeah, reptilians in underground caverns and hybrid babies and the rest of this. I'm not ruling everything out, okay, but it was just so fantastical. Anyway, so it was too late then for me to get in touch with the guy and say, look, I don't think this is a good idea, because it was all planned. Yeah. So we done the interview. This is on the Wednesday night. Don't go looking for it because it's been taken down.
Right.
Yeah, and rightly so. John done the right thing. He did do absolutely the right thing by taking that nonsense down. Yeah. Now, no question that this Vanessa, something has happened to her. And I'm going to lead this to a question for you, Paul. But she talked, and what it sounded like to me in her early life, she first started having experiences when she was 4, and it was all kind of supernatural and poltergeist activity. I didn't see anything abductee or alien about it at all, really, apart from a couple of little mentions of when she said she'd seen one UFO and her daughter seen a reptilian, and she was I don't know, mate. It was far out. It was way out there.
Okay, where were they living? Because that could make a difference to whether there be underground caverns and reptilians.
No. Good God, they were living in London.
Well, I count that out then. That sounds
that's just one of her. That's just one of the nutcase crackball.
If she was in like the Rocky Mountains or somewhere remote and more sense to me,
like that,
or
mate.
near the sea, right, where you get underground caverns under sea as well. But that would make sense.
Listen to me now, Paul. Listen to me now. What she's done, she's gone looking for answers and filled in the blanks. And she quoted David Icke as a source.
Oh no!
Yeah. So now
and
you can see
where's David Icke been living for the past 50 odd years?
God, I don't know. He's been censored,
in a mansion
hasn't he?
somewhere in the UK. But,
Jesus, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean the virus is still a hoax according to him.
No.
Yeah. Anyway, after the interview, I must admit, I did feel a bit exhausted, and I was just glad it was over. Blah blah blah. Next day, Johnny got in touch with me. Now there was more than just me and him and her on. There was another girl called Tess as well.
Yeah.
So Johnny said to me, "How are you feeling?" Now this was like Thursday afternoon. At the time, I was feeling fine.
Yeah.
He wasn't. He was not feeling fine at all.
Yeah.
He said he woke up feeling ill, nauseous. His head was spinning, confusion. Yeah. And he kind of thought that he picked up on bad energy. And Tess felt the same way. Now, I felt fine. That was Thursday afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
By Thursday night, I was in agony. I've got to have to say it, and it's embarrassing for me, I developed an anal cyst. Yeah? And by Thursday night, nasty. I couldn't sit down. I could only sleep on my side, and I was waking up because I kept turning on my back in my sleep. It was agony until last night, and then During the night, it burst in my sleep. I'm totally out of pain now. So my question for you is, do you think that a bad energy can be passed on?
Yeah, I certainly do believe in karma. And
Karma, yeah.
yeah, if you get, I think maybe if you got a group of people to wish bad stuff on people, that
well, listen, this is the thing. When she found out that John had taken down that video, it didn't go down well. It was basically, well, go and F yourself, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, mate, but geez.
Well,
yeah,
polyps might be a sign that you might need to get an endoscope done just to check out the rest of it. Maybe you should tell your doctor.
Oh, I'm not out the woods yet. Those things can come back.
Yeah. Polyps are pretty common though, and you do get hives, as they call them, if you try and strain
it
too
normally
much.
It normally has to be drained.
Well, you got to look at other factors. Did you strain at all? Go in the toilet once before the day?
Nothing. I was fine.
Fine.
Came out of nowhere.
Oh well, Robert's been anal pro, people.
Yeah, 7-8 o'clock on Thursday, I was fine. Yeah. By midnight, I was in agony.
Yeah. Yeah, Mum had all that done as well, and they took out polyps out of her because she was bleeding too. That's worse is she had heart attack, and because you're on blood thinners, and once you got something like that bleeding in your intestines, it's not going to stop, or it's going to take a long time to stop. It makes a really mess. You have to wear a diaper and it'd be full of blood and stuff, you know, kind of scary stuff. So you got to watch out for poo. Have you had any poo that was black? Because that is a sign of blood in your intestines.
Oh, it was full of blood today, but it wouldn't be because it.
But did you have any black?
Previously, no.
Yeah.
Previously, no.
I know people say you don't look at your poo, but you do. You stand up and look down before you flush it, and you see it with a normal brown colour. You know, it varies between dark brown and light brown, depending on what you're eating, of course. And sometimes it floats if you eat a lot of fat. Apparently, fat goes right through, and if you're not eating enough fibre, it's not going to be so heavy and all that sort of business. In the future, they'll probably have little robots that analyse your waste and can detect early signs of cancer and stuff, which actually would be a good idea. They're trying to do that now with C19, right? And the wastewater, they can detect if there's any trace of Delta in the wastewater in Christchurch or whatever. Means that someone's infected and they've got to hunt them down. So yeah,
anyway,
you never know.
At least Blacks finds it funny. Who knows? Maybe it was an alien probe, not a cyst.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It could have been. Robert's been probed. Of course, they must do some damage. You know, we've just been talking about cattle mutilations, and they don't go too easy there, do they? So, and of course, my experience with a needle in the back was extremely painful, and I don't think I was meant to wake up and see it happen. But it's something I've never been able to explain still, and as far as I know, it hasn't happened again. But sometimes I feel absolutely shit and feel like I haven't slept, and yet, as far as I'm concerned, I slept solidly all night, so something went on. Sometimes I feel that. But like I said, with the voice audio recordings next to my bed here, it lights up the screen of the thing where it detects sound, and so I've got to aim it away from my bed so it doesn't wake me up, but it might scare off them. But yeah, that thing that day where the recording didn't happen was really strange. It's like the phone had been tampered with or temporarily disabled for that day.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's not like I check the recordings every day to see what's there, because the program is a wee bit buggy on the phone. When it starts recording, Google Assistant kicks in on it and it takes control of the microphone, and you get silence of 20 seconds on the recording where the sound's meant to be happening. Because Google detects the sound. Once the screen's on, Google detects the sound, takes over the mic. So yeah, it's a bit of a conflict there. So yeah, so the recordings I've got may not be very good unless it goes longer than 20 seconds. But yeah, well, I'll still keep trying. I'll keep trying to document things. You never know. It sort of happens randomly. Like I said, it's hard to. You can't sort of predict it.
It's happened. Yeah, I know. You never know when it's going to happen, or you never know where it's going to happen. Well, in your case, it's generally when you're at sleep. Kind of when you're using that left side of the brain at your most vulnerable time. But yeah, predicting when, you've got to have something running literally every night. And how many times have we heard that mysteriously the recording that doesn't turn out?
Often at 4 o'clock, I can feel this coldness come down from the ceiling. I just put it down to downlights, draft coming down from the downlights, because there's a small gap around them, but not that big, and it feels like that like all your heat energy has been sucked out of you. You feel like someone's sucking the energy out of you, literally. And then I just sort of wrap up for the night and dive under the covers, double feather quilt, and start warming up again. But yeah, unless you got a heater going, and you sometimes get this cool blast that happens, because most people wouldn't be up at 3 or 4 like I am, or even 5 o'clock in the morning. That's meant to be the hot spots of UFOs, right? Or abductions happening. But yeah, sometimes I've heard strange sounds while I've been awake as well, and like something's in the loft. And it's a brand new house. There's no reason why it should be haunted. So, and it's amazing. And I often say to people, "Did you hear that on the roof or whatever it was?" And they'll say, "No, didn't hear a thing." So yes, it's sort of a mystery. The strange going on. But it wasn't till probably in my 30s that paranormal started happening, really. I know my sister and the cousins did muck around with a Ouija board in our house once, where strange stuff happened later on. But they were mucking around with a glass on the Ouija board, and it moved by itself. And they all had their finger on it, and they all said that they didn't push it, and they totally freaked them out, and they never got it out again. But they may have opened up a doorway. You remember, and if you watch all the TV shows, the experts on it, they say you got to say, "Now we close the session," the doorway. And if you don't leave that, if you don't do that, it leaves it open.
Do you know what? That just brings this, not a change of subject, but just a tiny diversion from what you're saying. How many podcasts now are talking about meditation and letting these beings into your life when they haven't got an effing clue what they're inviting in? So they're sitting on some sodding mountainside meditating, going home. Do they think these things are all goodness and light? Well, I tell you what, that is not where my research has led me. It just hasn't led me that way at all.
No.
And I tell you what, the more you look into these cases of miraculous healings after alien contact, blah, 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 you look into some of those cases and they just fall apart. Yeah. You've either got to take the person's word for it. Honest to God, they just don't hold up with me. There's no evidence.
Yeah, and you'd have to have medical records before and after, and show that some.
Yeah, exactly. And that's when they fall down. That's when these cases fall down.
Mm.
Yeah, well, I was
Yeah,
miraculously cured from cancer. Okay, prove that you had cancer.
yeah.
Oh, well,
UFO proof brings to mind that he had a miracle as well. He survived a stage 4 tumour of the brain, which never happens. Yeah, right. Scam artist. Because we know he's got records for drug dealing and all that sort of stuff, right? Drug possession and stealing goods and
yeah,
selling
yeah.
stolen goods. It's all, once you got stolen goods, you know it's all to do with bloody drugs. But, yeah.
Yeah, well, once you're inclined to do that kind of thing,
And the
it's
guy,
very
the guy
difficult
that
to
I
gain
think
any-
is a shill is the Bledsoe family. Wherever they
I'm
had,
not keen on the Bledsoe story. He's on
no,
one UFO group. I can't remember what it's called now, but he's putting up pictures of absolute garbage of stars and all kinds of
yeah,
satellites and balloons, and he's swearing they're UFOs.
and
He's actually, when people give him, wait there, Paul, when people give him a conventional explanation for what he's seeing, he gets a bit aggressive about it,
yeah. Yeah, that's not how we operate. We we stand in the middle, and we don't discount the crazy stories, but we try and look for evidence that can back up their claim, or other stories that had similar traits that they may not know about to be able to research it, right? So if you
Because
get a lot of person,
without that, it's just another anecdotal tale. It's just another story, isn't it?
And the thing with light beings and all that sort of stuff,
Yeah.
For a start, energy is not a living thing, right? We know energy is part of probably atoms and all that sort of stuff that binds the universe and us together, but we still
There's a lot we don't
what
understand.
is consciousness. We don't know how our brains work and all that.
No,
But again,
that's
it's
right.
the energy itself is going to be all that. But why do we need a physical body? In that case, if energy was can be formed into a entity, why do you need a physical body? So I think you get that group that believes elementals and light beings, and what's the other terminology they have for angels?
I don't know,
Demons.
Paul, but there seems to be a group of people now and a group of podcasts, and this movement of making contact with these aliens is something important, and they're seeing it as spiritual. And to be honest, it makes me sick, this good alien thing, because where's the evidence for it? There isn't any evidence for it. So I'm not saying this meditation won't work, but what I am saying is just be careful what you're letting into your life. Now, I know for a fact there's people who've done it and they've had bad experiences.
Yeah. I think when they see so-called light beings, it might be where they're sort of passing through a portal into our world, but haven't fully formed. So, when you see these things with apparitions, they're sort of forming from a mist, right? They're gradually forming atoms into a recognizable shape, right?
Yeah, and but hold on a minute. Let's say you do have a good experience. How do you know that's not a deception?
You don't. That's another thing. It could be a mind trick where they're sort of broadcasting it into your brain, and you're just seeing it like a movie. But there are ways to prove it if you got physical evidence, like footprints, or like Bigfoots that sort of materialize and start walking, and you see it on camera from far away. You don't actually see it. It's always far away, right? So it's normally some sort of static camera they've locked off in the woods or whatever, and it's never ever really good. Then they disappear again. The footprints are there, but no evidence of fur or anything like that normally, but sometimes they do find some stuff on these new shows, at least, where they're trying to use new technology. But I think if you look at all the genuine cases, it's normally something physical, even if it's suggested that it might be part robot or artificial intelligence or whatever. It's still a bunch of atoms joining into this apparition or entity. It's not like it's like Fatima, I'm not sure what think about the Fatima case. Maybe I should ask you about that, because I did actually have Scott Brown recommend it as a case for my UFO chart, and I thought, that's way down on the bottom of my list as a genuine UFO encounter. That one there had too much religion and craziness in it, and some stuff that could explain what actually happened there, like sun dogs or whatever, or some sort of weather phenomenon that happened. But it might be someone playing a practical joke, hide in the bushes and somehow projecting some sort of Mary in the air in front of him through some sort of clever, glass sheet or something. You know how you got magicians that can do all this sort of crazy stuff on stage in front of cameras now. Float around and all that, so I'm pretty sure there'll be some clever minds out there to do pranks on 3 girls that are walking around on an island and say, this is your Jesus mother or whatever, Mary, and these things are going to happen, blah blah blah. So I'm really skeptical of that case. That's the least favourite one I've ever heard about anyway. I was a bit surprised that Scott Brown brought that one up, because there's a lot of other cases I didn't have on the chart at the time, and there's still yet to go back and add more to it. Part 3 or whatever.
Yeah, Scott's doing he's doing a show with you probably know anyway. He's doing that show with Edric Lukes now. I like Scott. Yeah. Scott's a good guy, and his Facebook group in the field is probably one of the best on the planet. Mind you, I don't think you'll get on that one in a hurry now.
No, I did apply way back, and he never accepted me. But he does appear on my side chat from time to time, and he appears also on Goofon's side chat still. Yeah, sort of.
I don't know why he's going there, but.
Yeah, I don't know why either.
He's also doing some short videos, like 20 minutes long, on like UFO news now, and what he's done, he's kind of animated himself and his research partner, and as only Scott could do, kind of thing, and it looks really, really cool, like. Yeah, but so, I mean, Edrica Lukes, I've got quite a few differences with her, and I've had a couple of little ding dongs with her. But her channel's going good. She's having some great guests on and that kind of stuff. People who've got opposing views to herself. I would say. I'll tell you who they had on. Chris O'Brien. He was on, and Erica brought up the Travis case with her, and Chris O'Brien wasn't having any of it. He believes he actually knew Travis Walton, and he does not believe the case is a hoax, Yeah,
now, I know you hear that all the time with UFO researchers that got too close to the subjects, right?
Yes, that's the thing. But you know what? Everybody I know that's met Travis believes him.
Yeah.
And I know a few now.
Yeah. Well, I don't. So, I don't believe him.
Maybe you can get too close to the subject, yeah?
Yeah. There's a possibility that he believes it. He's told the lie so long now that he believes it and can pass lie detector tests. But we know he hasn't passed all the lie detector tests. Yeah.
What left a bad taste with me, Paul? I don't care if it's a hoax or not. I'm not really bothered, because if somebody asks me, Rob, you believe in abductions? Yeah, I believe in abductions. Okay, give me your best case. It's never ever going to be Travis Walton case.
No,
never.
it's not.
No way. Too many ifs and buts. Far too many. I might point them towards Pascagoula.
Yeah.
I might pass them towards a couple of cases that. The couple in Australia that I'm convinced happened, where the Knowles family, where the car was lifted off the road, and there's actually some evidence for the car being lifted as it was. God, there was another one in Australia as well, but I keep getting her name mixed up with Linda Cortiel. I don't think that's a good case either.
No. That's the one that she get lifted out on a high rise, wasn't it? Brooklyn.
Yeah. But then it kind of got really kind of out of hand with the CIA people getting involved.
It started off good, and then it got too embellished.
So who knows now if the initial story was real or not, because it's kind of been contaminated now.
Abduction cases are really hard ones, really.
They are difficult. Yeah.
But I can understand people having experiences, because I've had them myself, and you're trying to get answers. Because it's definitely not a mental problem, that's for sure.
No, it's not.
But they're saying it could be because you spend too much time watching TV shows with aliens or something. But I don't think it's anything to do with that, because I think whether it's a dream, whether you're actually waking up. And I definitely woke up, and was in lots of pain. But seeing things, sometimes you can question it, because I know my eyes are not the best. But when you get up and start moving around, and the object's moving as well, and it's three-dimensional, you can't say it's in the eyes. So you could say you could look anywhere in the room and it's there in front of you, would be in your eyes, right? But if you look away and then turn around again, you find it's sort of changed shape or whatever, because it's dissolving back into a cloud and disappearing. You don't get scared for no reason. You really think it's there, right? Something abnormal that's trying to attack you is going to scare the crap out of you. And you got no weapons, we're in New Zealand, where we got no guns under the bed or bows and arrows on the wall. And all you got is a heavy quilt to throw at this thing while you're trying to dash to the door. That's basically what happened with me, but with one of my paranormal things. But I was watching this show, which I gave you a link to go see if you could hunt it down. It's a woman that used to do a radio show with Ryan Sprague, because I just saw his name here.
Oh, yeah.
Somewhere in the Skies book. He's got 242 reviews on it. Amazing. Should actually have a look at that. Most of it's other people's stories that he's collected from conferences and got their permission to put it into a book.
Yeah.
But as we found out, that his story of seeing a TR-3B above his head was never proven, not even by his father. And yet when he was first interviewed, when he was first on the scene in ufology, he had a totally different story, that he had no personal experiences. Now, why would you lie that you didn't have a personal experiences? And you'd say, oh, it's when I was fishing, I saw this TR-3B that's got me interested into the subject at that point.
Hold on, I'll talk about that in a moment. I just need to pop to the toilet.
Alright, okay. What's this down here? What's that popping up? We'll just read out this thing here. We'll work out why that's coming up. Oh, there we go. It's a UFO story, so I haven't heard this one, I don't think. Let's see how well it reads while we wait for him.
Taos, NM, KRQE, Close Encounters of the Alien Kind, in the Taos Mountains. 2 New Mexico hunters are still trying to make sense of what they saw. A rare sighting in the Taos Mountains turned an opening day hunt for elk into something out of this world. Bow hunters Josh Brinkley and Daniel Lucero say they were hunting on Pot Mountain when they encountered what they believe were extraterrestrial beings. They definitely look more like spacemen than like your E.T. looking aliens, says Josh Brinkley. Brinkley says the first day of the hunt, he spotted what he thought were 2 hunters. We have little shapes on the right and left side of them, oversized heads, kind of black torsos, Brinkley says. Then the next day, both men came across what looked like a movie set. I thought it was like a base camp or something catering, Brinkley says. As they drove closer to the 100-foot-long structure, the road just dipped down a little bit for a couple seconds, then, gone, Brinkley says. Their movie set theory quickly changed. There's no way a truck or trailer pulled it away. It doesn't just disappear like that, Lucero says. The men say the experience has opened their eyes and changed their beliefs about aliens. It actually happened to a couple of guys who really don't believe in much, Brinkley says. The hunters did report the sighting to the National UFO Reporting Center. The director says they do believe the report is credible.
What's interesting there, big heads, alien greys, and black suits. Remember I was talking about the alien grey and a UFO case I have on my website there. If you go to the home tab, you can scroll down and find it, from a Skywatcher. Definitely got these really dark black, almost looks like jumpsuits on, and it has like a little square opening at the front there, obviously maybe where undoes. I was trying to compare it to some Chinese clothing where they got the little no collar, but it's got the little square bit at the front where the buttons didn't go down. So yeah, just those few facts alone sort of matches up what we saw in that video. Big heads and black suits or black clothing of some sort. But it doesn't say much on that one, does it? Pot Mountain, where was that? I wonder if that plays. I can't hear it.
Two New Mexico hunters are still trying to make sense of what they saw.
Okay, so we just played that in the text anyway.
Was it a close encounter of the alien kind in the Taos Mountains? 2 New Mexico hunters are still trying to make sense of what they saw. Here's News 13's Francesca Washington.
A rare sighting in the Taos Mountains.
We called it the mothership.
Turned an opening day hunt for elk.
I was hoping to take you away, but I wasn't that lucky.
Into something out of this world.
We're on the hunt for aliens.
Bow hunters Josh Brinkley and Daniel Lucero say they were hunting on Pot Mountain when they encountered what they believe were extraterrestrial beings.
They definitely look more like spacemen than like E.T. looking aliens.
Brinkley says the first day of the hunt he spotted what he thought were 2 hunters.
We have little shapes on the right and left side of them, oversized heads, kind of black torsos.
The next day, both men came across what looked like a movie set.
I thought it was like a base camp, maybe? Catering?
As they drove closer to the 100-foot-long structure.
And the road just dipped down a little bit for a couple seconds, gone.
There's no way a trailer or a truck pulled it away, or it doesn't just disappear like that.
Their movie set theory quickly changed.
What better place to land an alien spacecraft than out here, right?
The men say the experience has opened their eyes and changed their beliefs about aliens.
It actually happened. to a couple guys that really don't believe in much.
Francesca Washington, KRQE News 13.
Now, the hunters did report the sighting to the National UFO Reporting Center. The director
If
tells
that
us they
was,
do believe the report to be.
If that was true, if that was true, they wouldn't be joking with alien hunters at the very beginning of that news article, remember? If they weren't so serious about knowing about aliens before. But what I found interesting...
No photographs, no video.
No truck dash cam, no. That would have been really good if it really was true. That would be like smoking gun evidence, wouldn't it? But if you have a look at the descriptions here of the black bodies, that does again matches up with what's in the video of Mojo's. They had these one-piece black suits on with no no collars on them. Exactly what they've drawn here. You can see it in the images. So maybe it's true. They did have big. They didn't have big eyes like that, but they had sort of slightly larger eyes than normal humans in the video.
Yeah, so they couldn't make out any features. Then I take it from that drawing.
No, not really. They said they had big heads. I'm not sure if that's meant to be eyes around the side of it or not. But yeah.
Think so.
They thought it was a movie set, which kind of is interesting because that's what I suggested to the Skywatchers, saying, "Oh, are you sure it wasn't some sort of movie set being filmed out in the remoteness of the area? Because that's where movies tend to be made." I questioned
that as well.
Yeah, and he said no, the lights simply disappeared. You know, once he got too close, bang, gone. So they knew he was there, but they made sure he didn't get too close to film stuff. So all his videos looked like really low quality people walking around in the forest sort of thing, you know. And it was only this one where they actually landed close to his house. With the swamp land out the back, where he managed to capture it and didn't notice the alien at the cockpit because he didn't zoom in on it. He sort of went all over the place, which was really bad filming. If he did see an alien in it, it's a very strange thing to do if you're trying to fake it, right? But yeah, if you look at the images... there's this one there where it's actually got these suits just like this here, with no collars. And it just looks like those images there, so that might be a legit story. That was sort of random one because I was searching.
That was it. That's interesting.
Yeah, and of course that's like this. It sort of reminds me of the Bigfoots, where they simply disappear once they get too close, you know. So whereabouts is this mountains? They drew a picture there, or they were driving in a truck there. It looked like a perfect place, like they said, for where alien scientists would go. It's on that one. Let's just find out where this location is. Why would you bother reporting that to the news station, though? They did report it to the UFO Reporting Center, which makes it more credible to me. Because how many times have you heard experiences and none of them have reported anything to any organisation to research it, you know, or prove it, you know? And that's straight away a red flag for me. The people that not going to the conferences are going to ERT to document it or try and figure it out, and the rest of them are going to conferences trying to make money from it. They're the suspect ones.
Conferences. I don't know. I've never been to one. I don't think I'd be tempted to ever go.
Wow.
I don't know. I might go to it. Wow.
We've been here before. We've been here before. Yeah, we've been here before. I think we had a story on this. Another story on this. Remember? That looks familiar. That looks like a impact crater here. Look. That's a damn asteroid impact crater there. And possibly there too.
There as well, yeah.
On a mountain range. Wow. What's all this over here?
A couple of smaller ones to the left, maybe.
It does look like a perfect location. It's certainly mountainous, and it's got a lot of plains. So I wonder where it was exactly in this. Could have been here. But yeah, when you go out to space, it does look like a place where a few impacts come down. Very strange area. And of course we know Mexico, if you zoom right out, if you look at the impact crater map, I bet we can find the location. Is that Mexico? Did they say? Oh, New Mexico, that's right. We know here we know here is some big impacts happened, and we know America is full of impact craters. So if you have a look at my research I was doing, when you overlay it on this map here, this is near Skinwalker Ranch over here, and there's some really...
no. Skinwalker's in Utah.
Yeah, it's over here, I think. Kansas.
No, I don't think Utah's there.
New Mexico. Let's just bring it up on the map then. To Utah. Let's see where the road goes. It's in the opposite direction.
Yeah, I told you, it's way off. See that whole? See that?
Not really. It's really close.
Oh no, it's not too far away. Yeah.
It's really close.
It's actually close.
And there's a big impact that happened up here, which put debris 500 kilometers. And there's a few impacts down here, and there's a load that goes right across here. Let's see if I can find my chart. But that story looks like an impact crater area, which is where you'd expect to see some of the sightings, because there does seem to be some relationship between impact craters and magnetic fields and UFO hotspots.
Can you, just for the sake of the people watching now, can you zoom back in on Utah again?
Yeah. Let me just get my folder across first. So I got my various research folders underway here. Impact research, best UFOs. I'm sort of building up as we go. Yeah, so where's a good one? A map of everything. So this is a map I scrolled up as I was clicking on it. Have we got a map of everything? Actually, we'll just bring it up. And this is a live show I did about the pilot sighting and fourth dimension. And I was showing it as 2D and 3D. Here's all the impacts that they know about. But I think it's incomplete. There should be a load over this way too. But you can see here's the big one over Mexico. And you can see where Utah is. We got little tiny impacts. That looks like the area there where the guys were. We got this massive impact here. It goes 500 kilometers. And you got these other ones which are probably a good 100 diameter and size, 80 miles. But you can see here America is totally riddled from ancient asteroid collisions with some iron cores, and goes up into Alaska. And over here it's not so well documented because it's probably Alaska, but obviously it's going to be more like this over here too. South America, yeah, for sure. If you look at Australia, is riddled. Look at that.
Yeah.
And guess where here's rock?
Everywhere they found, it's on the map.
No, not really. You can't see many over New Zealand. Ancient.
Maybe because they haven't happened, Paul.
Russia's got a few, but it's quite a big landmass there. Japan, they believe there was an impact here, but it's not showing up because there's a thing called like glass, what they call it, tektite or something like that it's called, where it creates glassy spheres, which is left over from impacts. Here you got one in South Africa. We've got some really big ones here. And believe it or not, we got one near the Great Pyramids. So we got one either side. So I suspect there'll be some more that's probably missing there. I think the Great Pyramids might have been built on a impact crater itself. But yeah, we're looking at Utah. It's way over here, right? And there's that.
Yeah, zoom in on Utah. You need the old map.
Yeah, what I was trying to do is trying to merge this map with a normal map so we could actually read all the place names. But look over here, Kentucky. Kentucky is just so riddled with it, and that's where the goblins were, right down here. And you can see where the four corners are, where they talk about aliens coming down and going into doorway, into underground.
Yeah, I don't think impact craters and UFOs have anything in common, you know.
I disagree. So once we start looking at other things, triangles, Alaska
why
triangle.
on earth why do we get sightings in the UK? It's not exactly littered with
there are a few impacts. Okay, so this is one that's over Skinwalker Ranch, right? Which I've already pointed out. And guess what? It's along. Oh, I've gone full screen on that. Let me just get it back. Accidentally clipped it. Damn it. Yeah, these are all the different triangles where there's meant to be magnetic anomalies happening. So that's the Alaska one, and the Dark Pyramid is what we're currently looking at on one of the lives, or a couple of live shows, is smack there, which is right in Alaska Pyramid. They believe there was an impact here, and that left the glass debris, but you can't see exactly a impact location here, but that's where they believe the impact happened. So it's not actually on the other map. These are meteorites that blow up in the atmosphere, and you can see they're all over the map here. So that's all over the world. The little tiny ones that light up the sky. New Zealand, Australia, it's everywhere. So where's my... So this is a map I've been building up. So down here we got South Atlantic anomaly, where the satellites go crazy. And you can see here it's between three massive impacts. One in Brazil, two at the south of South Africa, and also at the bottom of South America. And you can see this anomaly, if you look at the map there, is right over where all the impacts are, to the tip of South Africa. Right down to all the impacts here, and that one there is on the edge of it. And of course then you got also the 37 parallel runs straight through all the hot spots where all these ancient impacts happen. So you know there's a lot of sightings there. And Bermuda Triangle, look where Bermuda Triangle is. It's down right in this area here, which is also where a lot of the impacts happened. And that's where the compass, we've seen compass even on TV shows where it goes crazy. And then you got the Lakes Triangle. What do you call that one up there? Not the Alaska one, Lakes. But the Great Lakes Triangle.
No, that's Great Lakes in Canada. Well, they're not all in Canada.
Yeah, so that's up here also where all the impacts are. And you got the pyramids and UK. Let's see. There's not too much in UK, but there are some big impacts close by. But there's meant to be one between Ireland and Wales out there where the story of the Blue Men comes from. That's not on the map for some reason.
Well, there is a lot of sightings in the Irish Sea, you know.
So I think that's incomplete too. But you're right, there's not many impacts near UK. Maybe it's just been really lucky or the data's not been collected. But yeah, look at this over here. You've heard of the what do you call it? The ghost ships of Sweden. Look at all those ancient impacts there. Norway, Sweden, Holland. And then we're getting down to, where's this area over here? Where's that? Going near China, Russia. And you got maybe something on top of, is Iran here? Is that something there at the very top? And then we got India. There's one big, huge one there. And Russia. And as you know, there's been that big explosion back in Tesla's time that lit up the sky and flattened the forest. So you can see if there was some ancient...
Oh, God, yeah.
And then you got the Japanese Dragon Triangle. But when you look at their map here, there's no massive impacts. And again, I think it's to do with this one down here. That didn't leave much of a crater. I think there's going to be something out here where that triangle is, where strange stuff happens. And guess where most of the freakways happen? Every year they lose something like 170 cargo, what do you call them? Those square boxes they have on top of cargo ships. What do they call those things? Anyway, they get blown off through freak waves and crazy storms, and they always lose about 170 every year. And most of them disappear around the bottom of South Africa, and also has been known to be at South America here. So shipping do
but
lose
the Tunguska event is a strange one, you know, because several people actually believe they saw, if it was a meteor, they saw it change course more than once before it exploded. So I really haven't got no idea what happened there.
That sounds like the Kecksburg, doesn't it?
Kecksburg, yes. But that was intact.
Yeah. So that's taken me pretty much a live show to build up that map, and I was thinking, oh well, we could go even further. We could overlay where all the pyramids are and other ancient monuments, and you never know when you overlay in different data sets, there may be some sort of pattern that happens. And also I was thinking about background radiation as well, where it's higher. Could it be in the hot spots as well? So there's all sorts of things we could be looking at. But this is doing real research, you see. These stories are just stories, but when you start putting together impact craters and magnetic disturbances like this down here,
definitely magnetic anomalies and UFO sightings. There's no question about that. That's why Wiltshire in England has more than its fair share of UFO sightings. There's magnetic anomalies there. But the actual impact craters, what attraction they would be to UFO, I have no idea. I don't think that has any relevance personally.
No. Okay. Well, me...
I don't know.
I'm a science guy, and I just start overlaying things and start seeing connections. So
nobody else has done it, so fair enough.
You know, I'm often attacked for just my channel being just debunking, but it's not. It's actual true
Do you want to have another
investigations
look at
down.
Utah there? There's just one thing I wanted to point out.
Yeah, I'll just bring that back. Utah, we're going to zoom down to it.
There we go. That's fine. Like that, Paul. That's it. If you leave it there, yeah. So you can see there. Whoa, you moved it again. Move it down a little bit, please.
Down. Up.
There we go. Down. Leave. As you can see there.
Yeah.
The Unita. That's the Unita Basin, yeah, and Audrey Reservation. Now you don't have to go onto the Skinwalker Ranch itself to find strange anomalies and paranormal activity, UFOs. That whole Unita Basin, which you can legally go if you happen to be living in the States, you can go check it out for yourself. You don't have to go on the ranch itself.
Yeah.
That's only a small part of the activity, you know.
Yeah, but you can see here, it looks kind of like an impact location, right?
Well, I'm not sure it does.
You can see the features.
Looks like a normal geographical feature, that.
And this whole basin here, look, it's sort of...
Could be.
Ancient. Yeah. You got talk about millions of years where the rock has lifted up through plate tectonics.
Yeah.
And impacts. If you can imagine the moon having plate tectonics and its craters changing shape and all that. But yeah, there is no one. I have got the overlays on Google Earth and all that, but I won't bring it up. But yeah, I find it fascinating anyway when you start looking at the stuff. And of course, you've got to remember Denver Airport's only on the other side of where Skinwalker Ranch is. You'd have to put up on the map here. But that was another episode I did a long time ago. It probably needs to be updated. But yeah, I think their story could be credible on that one as well. Because some of the stuff sort of matches up, and the area looks like definitely looks like the place.
And Alaska, certainly Alaska, and the Bermuda Triangle as well, and Wiltshire. No doubt, there's many other magnetic anomalies around the globe, but you keep looking for them and piecing them together. That's good work.
Yeah, it's just a matter of finding energy and time to do it. And
yeah, but
I spent an hour trying to overlay cities on the impact crater to make a really good chart, and it wasn't happening. For some reason, it wasn't lining up properly, and I didn't know why, and I couldn't see why, but maybe because it was including some undersea terrain. I was trying to match it up, and it just wasn't happening. Always seemed to be slightly out for some reason. But anyway, yeah, we just keep on looking for stuff like that. And if we can get a map of all the UFO sightings that you can add on Google Earth, that'd be really good, because you can add these files called what was it called, XL something rather, Google Earth layers. Let's see if I can remember what it's called now. Comes in two forms. It comes in an uncompressed form and a zip form, and one has this S on the end for zip. How do you make layers? Trying to find the extension. Here it is. What is the KML or the KMZ? Well, KML is a layer file, and if it's got Z on the end, it's actually been zipped up. And they call it keyhole markup language, which is kind of strange. But it can put markers and GPS coordinates and data files in the layers. And a lot of people in research use it, where fires have been, forest, where all the petrol stations are, or whatever. All the water tanks for filling up fire engines are, and all that sort of stuff. And you could just do any type of overlay you want, and you could do that with UFO sightings and paranormal ghost sightings or stories, and just overlay it on the map and see how many occur in impact locations. Problem though with the KMLs though, unlike that map we're looking at where it shows you the full the diameter of the range of the impact, the KM files have a little circle like a marker, but it doesn't tell you the range it goes where all the debris went, all the molten rock and all that sort of stuff from the impact. So it's not quite as good. But you can go back and have a watch on my live streams if you get time and have a look at what I was doing. But and you were going to talk about Ryan Sprague before I changed the topic.
Yes. I mean, it was, I seen footage of him where he categorically states that he never seen any UFO of any kind.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden there was that turnaround where he'd seen this black triangle craft, and I don't know if his father's still alive to back him up. But he said I think he was in a shop and he came out of the shop and had a look and seen it, and then he went back in, and I don't know, did he say he didn't tell anyone? I don't know, but it was very unusual how he suddenly, because he must have known he was going to come in for some flack as soon as he created, well, I don't know if he created the story or told his story, I don't know. I find it a little bit suspicious.
I don't trust him, and I don't even like his. I don't even like his voice. His voice creeps me out.
I'm not a big fan. I've got to say, I'm not a big fan.
He said his father saw it, but he thought it was playing lights as it's going away. Is what he said.
Oh,
in the story,
I see.
I think.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, the father didn't actually see the triangle, and he went back inside to watch sport or whatever it was. But I've just been watching this new series.
But if his father's already seen something, then maybe he did have the sighting. I'm just not sure why he never came forward with it himself in the first place. I mean, you're in the UFO field. Why is it going to hold you back?
So I'm watching this series. I'll probably take some screen snapshots of it and do a review on it. Case for UFOs. I think it was called that. I think I sent you a link to have a watch of it because there was some interesting stories on there. Not because Ryan Sprague was on there ruining it for me. Is that the one? The case for...
Well, at least he's got wise to Lazar.
Let's see, I think it was called... Now let me just check it up on Discord. I do post the links there. I did send it to you as well. So try and have a watch of it. Let's see. Here we go. Right. It's called On the Trail of UFOs. On the Trail of UFOs. So now I'll just go through and explain it. It's well worth digging it up on a stream site and having a watch of it, so you can still
Hold
find
on a minute. Oh, that's the one you're showing there is Morris Jessup. That was a man who died under very unusual circumstances.
Yeah.
Expanding case for the UFO and K. Jessup.
I actually got.
I don't know what you're looking for.
Watch On the Trail of UFOs. You can find it all over the place. Obviously, you can pay to watch it. Buy a season for $12. Now it's got this.
Oh, Greg Bishop's on there as well.
Yeah, it's got this girl called Shannon Lee Grow. And she's kind of like a really skinny, petite, pretty looking, dark-haired
yeah, she's the ex cop, is she?
I don't know if she's a cop, but she looks really determined in her face.
Yeah, I know who Shannon LeGros. I know who she is. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, apparently she was doing a paranormal podcast with Ryan Sprague for years. Apparently, until he left to do his own podcast. That's what she says on the intro. Okay. Now, she goes on a tour of America, like most of these people eventually do. So she got out of the studio staying at home and decided to go on the road with a camera crew and make a documentary and obviously sell it to Travel TV, I think it is. You can see Ryan Sprague was there. Unfortunately, they should have left him off, as far as I'm concerned. Because in 3 episodes, he's talked about his sighting of the Black Triangle, and we know it's not true.
We don't know that. But it's suspicious, isn't it? It's very suspect.
Yeah, he's not believable in it. Not after the Martin Willis interviews, anyway. And,
no, I know that didn't show him in a good light.
This is a 2020 documentary, so he actually looks like he's put double the weight on in the face. He looks actually a lot chubbier than he used to. Definitely a lot older.
Should have deepened his voice.
Yeah, his voice puts me off every time. But they had some really credible people on there, researchers that you probably recognise. There's a guy that looks like Earl Grey. It's almost like a double of Earl Grey, and he's got long hair too.
I'll check that out afterwards, Paul.
I can't remember what his name is though, but he was on several of the episodes.
Yeah,
but there was one where the guy would come out of his house and he was walking around the neighborhood with his sister. And they said they saw what looked like a Ferris wheel. He said it's like those ones you stand up in and it pushes you on the side. He said it was all colourful and sparkly in the middle and it was spinning around and it was coming over it was massive and it was coming over the forest and it made no sound, he said. And he thought, is that a Ferris thing being towed by helicopter or something? That's what he thought initially. And his story is really credible because he's got multiple eyewitnesses that also saw it. People that weren't related to him also saw it that night. They were jogging and driving or whatever. But crazy sighting. Why they have so many lights on it, he can't understand if they were alien craft because obviously they didn't care about being spotted. Or was it just to make we've talked about this before. If you're an alien, if you wanted to make your craft so outlandishly crazy looking, by putting disco lights on it and stuff, that the people that seeing it go and tell other people, and everybody would be laughing and saying, "No, that can't be true." It'd be a good way to maybe make it less believable if people saw them. Flick on all these disco lights on it. You never know a sense of humour of alien greys anyway. Maybe they do have a sense of humour. But
no, I think they want to be seen, Paul. That's my opinion. They want to be seen. It's either that or they just don't care.
Yeah.
Why would they care? We could be totally insignificant to them. Totally insignificant.
Yeah, I don't know why you'd have so many red lights and spinning around and stuff, unless it's part of this.
Well, there's no attempt to stealth there, is there?
No. But anyways, interesting stories throughout them. Well worth having a watch of it, even if you don't like some of the people in it.
Okay.
And it's eight episodes, and you can find it on a stream site. Free ones as well. But I'll let you find those. If you got $12 to burn, just go and get it through this, I guess. That way you got the highest quality then. Obviously, there's lots of links to it. So I'll probably do a review of that one. To me, when you look at the logo, it's on the trail off, and they don't actually put UFOs underneath. And I think, I bet they got to try and do a follow-up series where they do on the trail of the Bigfoots and on the trail of paranormal, and I bet they'll do like a TV series like that, right? On the trail of aliens, so they could keep changing the last word and make it into one of these TV shows. So obviously this was a trial run of 8 episodes, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see where it goes. It was good. I've seen a lot worse documentaries than that. Whether she made any money from that, I don't know. But obviously you can rent it and buy it everywhere here, so who knows? Maybe they did make a couple of 100,000 from it, who knows? But yeah, apart from that, I think I'm probably running out of things
Well,
to talk
he
about
reckons
now.
he's Ryan Sprague says himself that he's made absolutely not a penny out of ufology.
Yeah. There's a guy at the very end of the last episode made a really good comment. He said, anyone that's making vast amounts of money from ufology is obviously a shill. And he said, if you're like me, that you're just trying to get the answers before you die, there's no money in it, and you have to put a lot of your own money into it to buy the equipment and stuff. And he's dead right. Exactly it. You know, it's a bit like my channel. It's never been a money maker. It's been a money loss. But security, for some reason, just suckers them in, and all those nice little flashy little videos of stuff in the sky, and make a story out of it, and people just throwing money at them. To the tune of $20,000 a month, and Patreon would be up there probably by now, probably up to $3,000 to $5,000 a month from the donations. Now, to me, that's making enough money to actually buy the gear to make the research even better. But he's bought all these cameras and stuff, and what's he done with it? Nothing. He's back to making up all these fake stories about these cigar UFOs shooting down beams over Chinese airport, which is totally unrelated. The pictures of them helicopters on long exposure, as I mentioned yesterday, and the airport stuff happened 2010. And none of those images were from that period, and no one actually had any pictures of this so-called UFO that was meant to be shutting down the airport. So it's a bit like O'Hare sort of thing, where there were video pictures that come out later which turned out to be fakes or wishful thinking, I guess.
The O'Hare incident 2006 actually posted something about that today. No. There's no good pictures from that incident, fortunately.
Good eyewitness accounts, though. The best eyewitness accounts.
The baggage crew were not allowed to have cameras.
No. Well, I don't see why not. I don't see why not. Everybody should have body cams.
Well, it's a distraction, isn't it? It's a distraction when you're on the job.
Not necessarily. It's to maybe keep an eye on any stolen goods and stuff. Yeah, that's what you could say. Everybody has to have a body cam on.
That apparently that was the rules, and they didn't have cameras, Paul. So
yeah, I know.
We're lost.
Well, this thing, even if the planes had dash cams, they were too low down anyway to see the plane because they had to look upwards, didn't they?
And the thing is, the people in the tower, because the tower had the flaming brief on it, and the object, the disc, was right above their head. They couldn't see it.
Tower, so they couldn't see it. So that means UFOs are quite clever then. Everyone else could see it, but not the tower, not the
Yeah,
radar.
civilians seen it. One lady and the children pulled up in a car park a couple of miles away from the airport, and they had a clear view of it.
And no
and
camera.
A couple of the pilots seen it as well. A couple of the pilots radioed in.
Yep. Yeah, that was definitely a real sighting, that one.
We don't know if it was picked up on radar. It probably was on military radar, but maybe not on the O'Hare
radar,
probably because some of the radar will only pick up on aircraft that have transponders. UFOs got no need for transponders.
Of course, it was pretty low down to 1,000 feet, and of course, you wouldn't get radar reflecting that low near the airport. Far away, maybe, but
that's a good point.
Yeah, it's too close to the horizon, really. So yeah, I'll just close that down. Yeah, okay. I suppose sort of misdirected things there again for you. I'm not sure if you wanted to add anything else that you wanted to talk about, but
well, yeah. I mean, of course, there's always something to talk about. I mean, it's just a couple of days ago. It was the anniversary of the Betty and Barney Hill abduction, 1961.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
So it's 60 years. It was 60 years ago today. Well, back a couple of days ago.
Yep. What was that? What was that mountain range called? The Browns Mountains, was it?
I'm not sure, but can I just see if I can find it now?
I think it was covered on that TV series I was just talking about. So you go and watch that. It talks about where they were driving, location and stuff. And did a slight showed an interview of her talking about it. I don't think they were lying myself after looking at the interviews and stuff. Or they're really good liars. But that sort of kicked off the abduction stuff from that point onwards, though, really, wasn't it? There wasn't really much before then.
Yeah.
Apart from demons and angels. Sorry?
Yeah. Well, when I posted it to the group, I had a couple of comments, and one was from Donald Johnson, and he used to work for Hynek at Kufos, and he calls it the best abduction case ever, best and most credible experiences, and he says best and most thorough field investigator was a man called Walter Webb.
Yeah.
And he investigated, and he was also apparently the most experienced hypnotherapist.
Oh, right.
But I'd never heard of Walter Webb, so I looked him up. And another really good abduction case which he investigated was the Buff Ledge encounter in 1968. So, and he thinks that was actually better than the Betty and Barney Hill case. Now, why did he say that? I'll tell you why I think he said that. Because on that occasion, the two witnesses, the two abductees, were separated for a period of around 22 years.
Yeah.
So they had no contact whatsoever. But when they found that the female, the second witness, the stories were so close, you know. So I think that adds a heck of a lot to the to the authenticity of the accounts.
Yeah. You got to remember they're were a lot younger when it happened to what you see on the interviews as well. A lot of the interviews that come out later.
Yeah.
But apparently she had more experiences that we didn't hear about, but it's meant to be in Kathleen Martin's book.
But she kind of thought, in the end, Betty Hill thought everything was a UFO, you know.
And that's probably one of the better pictures of him.
That way.
After it
and of course, Barney had the opposite effect on him. He didn't live long after. He died of a brain tumour, didn't he? I think. He never slept well after the event. He had psychological problems. He had physical problems. and it didn't end well for him. And anyway, here's another comment as well from this is an old hat, a guy called Dean Merchant, who was heavily involved in this by the sounds of it when he was younger. And this is his comment. It has been my pleasure to be in contact with Captain Colonel Ben Sweet of the 509th Bomb Wing. It was to his home at Peace Air Force Base that Betty and Barney travelled to first listen to the tapes. Now, we're talking about the regression tapes here.
Right.
So Betty and Barney Hill, they'd been under the regression, but they hadn't listened back to the tapes themselves.
All right.
So Ben related that Barney ran to his kitchen sink and vomited when listening to the tapes for the first time.
Right.
Such was the impact on him. Ben arrived to Portsmouth, New Hampshire in 1958 from Roswell. A true gentleman officer who confirms all that. Paul, you're talking over me. Paul, I can't finish
it's a
what I'm
shame they
saying.
didn't have a camera set up of when he reacted to it, because that would have been good to see.
Well, maybe they do, but it's not the kind of thing you'd want to put out in public, is it?
I know, but it's good for the research case, you know. You can see body language and all that sort of stuff. Oh yes, sorry, I thought you was just talking about it, not reading out. But yeah, carry on.
Well, yeah. That's more or less done now. But I still think that's a really robust case, the Betty and Barney Hill case.
Right.
It's very difficult to think that an interracial couple would make up this kind of story for attention, because let's face it, alien abduction wasn't even on. It wasn't even on the map in 1961.
No, but mixed marriages probably was really a foobar, wasn't it? Probably as well. So you don't want to bring attention to.
The last thing you want to do is bring attention to yourself in a mixed marriage.
In a mixed marriage, exactly.
Plus, Betty was a social worker, and Barney was a civil rights guy. So they were both highly respected in the community.
Yeah.
This didn't do anything to help their credibility, if you see what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that adds again to the credibility of the story. Are you looking for the dress that was torn?
Yeah, Ben Hansen latest show. I can't remember what it was called now. Can you remember what it was called? UFOs or something. It might be just called UFOs. I'm not sure. He did actually go and visit the dress and storage, and he got the scientists to re-look at it, and they found that it had actually some abnormal dyes on it that shouldn't be there. I think it was. So they found something new on there that got missed in the first analysis. So you'd have to go and watch his show to see what they said about it, because I can't remember exactly now all the details. You there, Robert? Have we lost Robert? Because I know he has been having internet problems. Says he's connected. Okay, and the Man in Black doesn't like us talking about the dress, I don't think. This is where the Man in Black thing comes up. Are you there, Robert? Are you going to the toilet? Are you coming back? Let me get some of your messages. Let's see if we can do something about it. Let's see, hang up maybe.
Hey, thanks for using our...
Yeah, let's see if we can get him back. Only happens when we have Robert on. He's definitely under surveillance in the UK there. Okay. I need to show the icons. We're getting back, we're getting back. We'll try to. Let's see. Last time we got double Robs and the 2 Rob connections. And we got him back. Are you there? Rob. Doesn't look good, does it? Anyone else in the UK had their internet lost? I suppose you wouldn't know either because you wouldn't be on the side chat. Okay. That might be the end of the show then. We'll give it a wee wait anyway. Because sometimes the internet takes 15 minutes to sort out itself, doesn't it? Ah, right, did he just drop out? We got 2 Robs. Will the real Rob stand up? Let's see. I think that was the dormant one. Can we kick him? Kick out. Let's see what happens. Doesn't seem to be kicking. Ah, there we go. Maybe it did do something. Try kick again.
That was my internet connection.
Okay, we got we got 2 Robs.
Oh well.
Always with you, isn't it? Men in Black have got us again. Just as you're talking about a abduction case as well.
It's. I'll be honest with you. It's been dodgy all week, Paul. For a whole week, it's been dodgy. How it hasn't gone on the other lives, I really don't know. But yes, it always does happen with you. Yeah.
Oh, you got my hoodie on, is it? Is that my?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you didn't burn it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I don't believe in the people that were harassing me about you. I said, no, Rob's not like Rob won't be that. He'll be angry, but he won't be that stupid. What's that one say on it? Does the Out There channel? Does it? I can't remember.
Yeah, this is really good one. Actually, it's the 2-tone one.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of like the big logos down the front because it's really hard to stain on. You know how you might be concentrating something on the computer and eating a burger or something and something slips out?
Tell me about it.
It's like having a built-in bib. But anyway, yeah, it's good to see that you're wearing it still. And the good quality. JD's got one too. And you saw the video of him coming over, and of course... I thought I was recording the whole time, and it was on pause. Yeah, some UFO investigator I am. They say mobile phones cameras are really tricky because they've got such large fingers. I can touch the screen accidentally and mute it and touch the buttons, and then it stops the thing actually recording. It goes out the application, and I just get so frustrated with it. So, but now I've got this really clever holder. It only costs like £5, and it clips around the phone, and it's like it turns it into like a normal camera, and you got a nice hand grip on it, away from all the buttons and screens. So as soon as you've got it recording, you can just hold the phone normally like a camera. So that's a really good hand thing, and it sort of stretches out and grabs it. I haven't got a picture of it, unfortunately.
But to just go back quickly
Yeah, we'll
now
just go
to the
back.
Betty
We're just,
Barney.
yeah. I wasn't going to disappear on you. I
Barney.
said, we'll give him 15 minutes because if it's a outage. Yeah, I was just talking about the Ben Hansen thing when you disappeared. He did get it analysed again, and they found some new stains on it which got missed, which were really interesting. I can't remember what was in the episode now, but it was really interesting what they found out. And they were going to investigate it even further from that point onwards, because they had it in storage all that time, right? Hoping that science progresses on, and they got new techniques to find new stuff on it, DNA or whatever, which happens with crime stories, cold cases. But yeah, carry on.
Yes. Now I don't know if you're familiar with a man called Kal Korff. He's a debunker.
Yeah, I've heard it mentioned yesterday when Goofon was talking about him going onto a panel of guys that were going to interrogate Michael Horn over Billy Meyer, and he was the one that was holding back the event happening because he wouldn't give wouldn't state a time to do it.
Yeah,
but Michael Horn
is on the. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, who is he? Yeah, explain who he is, because I don't really know.
Right, okay. He made his name as a Roswell debunker, but he's also made some really big claims. This is his reason that aliens don't exist, and neither do UFOs.
Right.
Kal Korff claims he was in the Israeli military intelligence, and he knew for a fact that Israel never studied UFOs, therefore UFOs can't be real. What a statement. What a bloody stupid, ridiculous thing to say. Now, one, you can't prove he was in Israeli intelligence.
No.
Two, even if he was, does he think he had access to all the answers?
Yeah,
and
was
three,
it disinformation?
Yeah, exactly. Of course. Now, worse than that, he got caught out. He was saying he was, I think it was in Afghanistan, or was it one of the Iraq wars, the first or the second, that he claimed he was out there as a mercenary, and he's got pictures of himself.
Hang on, is this the guy? Hang on, was this the guy that had a conflict with Kevin Randall? Was it?
Oh hell yeah.
Oh no, I know the guy now. Yep.
Yes, you do. Of course you do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, he's there with this gun in full uniform, but the uniform doesn't match up to any known uniform, and he's got this gun in his hand, and he's with a couple of other mates. So Kevin Randall, took a closer look at this gun, and it turned out to be a paintball gun.
Oh no!
Yeah, so Kevin Randall labelled him paintball warrior.
Ah, is that where it come from? Now I understand.
Yeah. So when you hear Kal Korff's name, just remember to say, "Oh yeah, paintball warrior." Yeah. Now he's turned his attention away from Roswell, and he's done a podcast on Betty and Barney Hill, completely debunking it, of course.
Oh no!
I haven't seen it yet. He posted it about half an hour before I was due to come on, so I thought, I'm not gonna. And I was still talking to somebody on Facebook, so I just didn't have time.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, I'll give it a view, and we can talk about it next week.
Yep.
I'll post it to you as well.
Yep, you can do that, or you can even bring on another guest with you if you want to. That's fine by me. To talk about it.
Yeah, I tell you what. There's somebody. He's from the UK, but he tends to go to bed most nights at 4 or 5.
Okay. 4 4 or 5 in the morning, that's okay then. But if it's in the evening, that's kind of difficult. That means he could be refreshed.
No, it means he'll be able to start at midnight.
Yeah. All right.
My midnight.
Yeah, it's a bit hard, isn't it? Time zones.
It is what it is, yeah.
Of
course, you're in the completely opposite side of the world.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kal Korff. Do you know what? I'm going to say this for him, yeah? He actually says some really sensible things on the subject, you know? He does. He makes some good comments. He's just got this ego side to him. You know, I can debunk everything. I know everything. And, you know, he claims that he helped Stanton Friedman with the Roswell research. Well, he was only 14 actually. He claims he helped William Moore. And the thing is, he waited till all these people had passed away. You know,
they can't verify it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think he's been on Stephen Campion's Truth Seekers channel as well, talking about Roswell. And he was saying that the second crash is BS and all that sort of stuff. And I'm thinking, no. A lot of those people interviewed seem very credible to me. You know, the body language and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
And, you know, so I didn't actually listen to him very long after that.
I know.
He would have to prove to people when he says statements like that why. It's a bit like me when I expose Tyler. I actually bring up examples of why it's not a UFO or why it's long exposure and all that sort of business. You know, and I think these people don't do that. They don't bring up evidence why. They believe it's fake, you know. They could bring up an image or frame saying, well, here, we did some body analysis guys on this, and they all agreed that they were actually telling lies at this point. You know, that's the sort of evidence we need.
It's not good enough. It's not good enough to say, that's a hoax. You've got to tell the audience why it's a hoax. You've got to bring your argument to the table. You can't just say that's a hoax and move on.
No, that's right. And that's why Scott Brando sort of got laughed at, really, because he said it was a hoax, but he never explained exactly how it was a hoax, you know. So that's why I sort of started my channel. I wanted to fill in the gaps and show people the stages of proving why it is a hoax. You know, through filter analysis and signatures and overlaying objects over top of one scene in the video, see if it matches up and see if we can change the angle and all that sort of stuff, which is quite a tricky, as you know, and it's time consuming, but at the end of the day you got the full life breakdown of it, and then you can just pull out the parts of it and say this is a hoax and these are the final results. You know, that's what people want, is the 5-minute video. But to me, 5-minute videos don't cut it. I'd rather see the whole analysis process and see how they were thinking, you know. You know, if my channel was run by another person, I wouldn't be running my own channel. I'd be watching them, you know. I wish there was something back in my time as a kid, like me, going through everything and also looking at new research areas and stuff, because that would have been really interesting back in my time in the 70s, 80s, 90s. But there was nothing around, and of course YouTube and the internet wasn't around, and YouTube was slow coming in to New Zealand and all that. So it was sort of like fast internet wasn't really available to 1998 here. So we were way behind the other countries that were already.
Yeah, it's like mid-90s here, but it was probably 1980 before most people had a computer in their household, you know.
And it took another 10 years before YouTube channels sort of kicked off as well, with it being bought up and having ads on, then I think it went downhill after that, though. Once you started monetizing things, it went downhill. And of course, maybe the original owner of it was having too much legal issues and not enough money to counteract lawsuits for copyright claims on his channel and all that sort of nonsense. But Google's now got the billions of dollars in influence, especially in American government, to and corporations to get around all that now. You know, they sort of please the music writers and music producers. You know, that seems to be the biggest problem for them anyway. Using music in videos and stuff, or it's someone's background music in the car or whatever. I think it's a lot stupid, really, because when you play music on your episode, if it's background music, people get to like it and probably end up trying to look for it and seeing what other songs that person writes. You know, I think it's just good advertising all along, rather than suppress music completely and want licenses for everything. You know, like a guy, Garage, he got sued because he didn't have a license, and he used to play music in the garage where customers would go, and of course he got sued for not having a license to do that, which is kind of ridiculous when you think about it. He bought the music, he was just playing it in the car radio, and he gets done for it, or CD player or whatever. Well,
it's all gone a little bit sad, hasn't it?
Yeah. So, yeah. So anyway, we're probably done with Betty and Barney Hill now, are we?
Until next week.
Yeah, so that would probably be like the number one abduction case. What would be the second one? Not Travis Walton. Although a lot of people would say so.
No. I think Pascagoula is an excellent case as well, and so too, as I just mentioned, is Buffledge. But there's the Knowles family in Australia as well.
Yeah.
And oh my God, I nearly forgot to mention it, the Kelly Cahill case.
Kelly
Cahill.
Oh, right, that one. Yeah, I was thinking of Kelly Hopkinsville, the Goblins.
Oh.
But that was an abduction case. But that was a really good case, though.
It was a really good case, yeah. Absolutely. Anytime you want to laugh, have a look into that. Jesus, what an event. Only it happened. I believe it did anyway.
What have we got here? Angels Unaware. A woman's powerful place in alien abduction narratives.
Yeah, you see, this is why I lose patience. This is where the UFO field gets a bad name.
Yeah.
The angels of light in the spaceships. Honestly, do you think? Well, I don't. Sorry, it's bullshit.
Let's see. We got a little grey alien with a white suit and a black suit and a tie. But they do wear black, so maybe that's where the Men in Black comes from, actually, thinking about it.
No, don't think so.
Could they have some sort of latex mask that looks like humans when they're still wearing the black suits?
Well,
why would they
a lot of people
around?
Said,
yeah, why would they go around in ancient, old black limos or whatever it is so they drive? Cadillacs or whatever it is. It doesn't make any sense.
And in the UK, it's Jaguars.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't realise the Men in Black had different cars. But yeah, you're right. All this angel stuff. What's that? The Tall Greys, the Nordics.
Yeah, jeez.
Let's see. Who is she anyway? these guys end up at contact in the desert.
Yeah. I'm speaking at MUFON conferences.
There's a lot of reading. 2 of the most famed alien abduction narratives of the Cold War period. Betty and Barney Hill, yep, and Raymond.
Yeah, and the Anderson affair. Yeah, that's another good case. That was a whole family. Involved the whole family, yeah.
That was just turned out to be that she was crazy, religious, wasn't it?
There was a lot of stick came in the way of the family, to be honest. They claimed that her husband was an alcoholic, and there was all kinds of accusations, and some of them, when you look into the case, weren't warranted. You know, I don't know.
What the hell's that? Frogs.
Yeah. I have to say that the best abduction cases I've heard have happened when people have been driving at night, fishing, hiking, actually when they're consciously awake and it's happened.
Yeah.
But it's always remote areas, isn't it? Always. No one gets picked up in the middle of town, do they?
This is hilarious. It always reminds me of Michael Jackson whenever I see this one.
Yeah, that's an image from the Andreasen affair.
Yeah, no, the aliens in boots and suits like Michael Jackson. Just marching through the house. Although, sometimes it sounds credible, and then other times you keep listening and you think, oh no, this has got to be a made-up story. And then when you start looking at her past and all the other stuff that she's done, she was changing what the aliens looked like from her initial descriptions. So straight away it was embellishment and changing the story. So I don't know if it really happened and she liked the attention and kept on going with it, which is possible. Or if it's all made up completely. But yeah, it looks like they're going back into demons and angels there. We could post the site to it if you want to read it, I suppose. There's quite a lot of reading there. I was just doing random searches. Yeah, what happened there? New option for copying. And Microsoft Edge. Control-Shift-V. Okay. I'll just do it my own way. Yeah, so I suppose you probably find lots of sites if you do light beams, right?
Oh, yeah, you'll find lots of bullshit, I know that.
To me, light beams sound like, something that hasn't fully materialized from one dimension to another. Like ghosts walking through walls, you're actually seeing them in the other universe as it's sort of overlapping. But yeah, angels and all this, yeah. It just gets so crazy, this stuff here, look. This kind of reminds me like Scientology, right?
Yeah, I know. And this is where all this new age shite comes from. You know what I mean? People meditating to make contact with these guys that they haven't got a clue about. Or nobody else for that matter.
Yeah.
If you're going to invite something into your life, then, try and check it out first. And the fact is, you can't check it out because no one has the answers. There's plenty of people who claim to have the answers, but when they start talking, hide your wallet.
Yeah.
Because nobody's got a clue what we're dealing with.
No. Hey, we got Jesper, Dan and Jesper joining us still. Hi, Paul.
Hi, Dan.
Yeah. Our power was down. Oh, okay. Just come back on it 5 minutes ago. Yeah, I thought it was strange not to see
my
you
internet
around.
connection for about 2 minutes.
We had the Men in Black strike again. Yeah. So it's good that you can finally join us. So we're probably at the tail end of almost wrapping up, though. We're coming up to 3 hours. We're just talking about various things. No set plan. We're just talking about everything and everything. Anything and everything. At the moment, we're talking about light beings. There's no doubt there's a lot of light, white light used in abduction cases where they light up the room and stuff like that. But
well, actually, more commonly it's known as a blue light.
But it's not actually light beings. What pops out normally?
No. It's just that people quite often report the room is flushed with a blue light.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean to say the angels. I don't know how anyone gets that idea. Is what they do to people isn't exactly angelic, is it?
Yeah, I'd like to know if they had any religious backgrounds. Anyone that's religious backgrounds always talks about angels and demons and stuff. And
yeah, well, maybe that's the only way they can interpret it, Paul.
Yeah, I haven't seen any non-religious person say, yeah, I had the aliens show up and they look like angels. But it doesn't mean they're not interdimensional beings of some sort. That's sort of connected also to the UFO phenomenon. They might be, as I've talked about in my theory about doorways to other multi-universes, and the alien greys might be actually going around where the doorways opened up and trying to check out the place to see if any of them escaped into our world and take them back. Bit like Men in Black.
When I listen to abduction accounts, and my God, I've heard a few now. Yeah. Some of them are like 100% abduction, alien, UFO type abduction experiences. But there's other accounts where it's difficult to know if what is going on with that person is supernatural or alien.
Yeah.
It's kind of a crossover in.
If you can imagine that they want to induct people because some sort of critter comes from the universe accidentally through a portal, and they're trying to hunt it down, it might be like a leech where it sort of sucks on you and goes into your body or attaches to your brainstem, and they're trying to take you away and scan you like a doctor to try and remove
that's plausible. It's plausible,
like I said, I could come up with all these sci-fi stories based on my experiences of seeing paranormal and trying to figure it all out. And then, of course, I had the paranormal experiences before I had the alien visitation occur. And I've never worked out why it happened and what the purpose of it was. Whether it was to chip me, to keep an eye on me, because there's a doorway here where maybe paranormal comes in, and maybe they're like protectors of the universe, right? They might go around trying to keep everyone to their own universe without causing problems.
Well, you can speculate all you want, Paul, but in the end, it's just going to be talking a load of spouts because it's just conjecture.
But when I say it, it actually makes sense to you, though, doesn't it? If you had someone come and saying, "Oh, the elementals and they come from the moon crater," blah blah blah, you got no proof of that. But when you say a possible theory of why the visitations happen, and I explain it to you it makes sense. And he says, "Oh, yeah, that's very plausible." There might be, on a mission like that, and of course, when you hear the MUFON people that have had these experiences or abductions themselves, like Il Gray, his one was really strange, wasn't it? It kind of sounds like that because he was doing a case 2 weeks beforehand when suddenly he got a visit. He may have been infected by something at that location, and they're trying to find out where it went to, or maybe trying to stop.
That's really plausible as well. And I mean, Earl is really plausible.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, what Earl says happened. You can take it to the bank. It happened.
See, it could even be virus, right? So they might take it away and think, "Oh shit, they may have got hold of that nasty virus from that universe, and we got to stop it spreading."
Well, when I had that entity in my room, the first thing I noticed, this is what woke me up, was like somebody pushing their thumb right behind the earlobe into my neck. I thought it was a dog's nose until I lashed out. And then I kind of felt something and realised that doesn't feel like the dog, and I woke up.
Oh, right.
And there's this entity, and there's this thing in the room, and it's not effing human.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean?
The
I'm
definitely with you. I know what you mean.
I think about it all the time now.
Yeah.
Did that put something in me that was doing that? You know, I can't get that out of my head. You're the
same as me. Yeah. And that's why we're in this field. So we're trying to figure it out together.
And I'll tell you what, at that point in time, I wasn't all that keen on the abduction side of the subject, you know.
No, I always thought it was a joke or, sleep paralysis, but now I know different.
Yeah, I knew something was going on, but I didn't think it was what it... Well, I've come to believe it is today, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a real phenomenon, there's no doubt about that. But if these actual physical alien beings, or whether it's something else, some kind of projected image, but something is going on, I really don't know. I really don't know what it is. The trouble is, if you take a position on it, if you say, I think it's this, and you're stuck with that position then, and you can be forced to defend it. Oh, well, that's not like...
Yep.
Dan
said here.
Yeah, Dan. Could be like beings. I'll tell you what else I haven't got.
So Bigfoot is real and somehow related to UFOs. Yep. I haven't seen a Bigfoot myself. So you are saying angels could be light beings. I'm saying light beings are really more likely a fragment of imagination through maybe there's something realistic to it where these might be entities that come from another universe, and the alien greys are actually like protectors of the universe, going around trying to retrieve things that entered into our universe that shouldn't be here. It's just one of my many theories of possibilities, right? Maybe I should write a book, or maybe I should go through all my live streams of all my theories and make a note of them and make it into a book. I think we've lost Robert again. The Men in Black has struck. So I think maybe his internet provider isn't the best. So we got 2 Roberts still. I think I might have to close down and reopen it again. We'll give them a few minutes to sort it out if possible. How can the internet be so bad in UK? I don't know. It's kind of strange. New Zealand has like one of the best internets in the world now. I wish it would auto-join. I don't know if there's an option to do that now, but there might be. Something's going on. Oh, look at the kisses. Infinity and beyond. What's going on here? Something's going on. We got another Robert. A different colour this time, isn't it? Hey, we got him back.
Yeah, that was not my internet connection, Paul.
Hey? Go on with
it wasn't. That wasn't my internet connection. It was stable all the way.
Don't say that. Oh well, it just adds to the funniness of it all that someone's trying to stop us talking. See, we're not meant to be important to ufology, but obviously maybe we are big influencers, and we're getting more influence out there and getting people thinking the right direction. You know, it's funny how we were talking about angels, and I was talking about my theory, and suddenly we have another problem. It's hilarious. I find it hilarious anyway. Nice Robert.
Yeah, it's different today.
How many people we got on the side now? Well, the real people stand up. We got Dan. I'm not sure if JD's around anymore. A lot of people don't hang with us the full time. Jasper, did Jasper say he was going? It's probably getting a bit late.
It's the witching hour now in the UK.
Well, maybe we should wrap up anyway. Seems like we've been given the hint twice now.
Yeah, we'll be good then.
Yeah, we did 3 hours here, and I'll upload it elsewhere and see if anyone's interested in listening to what we have to say. But yeah, we really need some maybe new fresh faces on interviews. I had been reaching out to that girl called the Real Tinfoil Hat. She's quite pretty, and she likes reading books and telling the stories. She would be a really good one to have on. And it looks like we've lost him again. I think it's time for us to wrap up anyway. But yeah, we're just...
Here we go, I'm back.
All right, you're back again. Yeah, I was just saying about
that wasn't my internet.
No, Tinfoil Hat lady said she would do a collaboration by coming on air and talking about stuff. So that would be good if I can get her on at some stage. It's just a matter of time zones, as you know. But yeah, if you want to do oddball time, are you there, Robert, still?
Yes.
The picture's gone crazy here for some reason. Let me see. We got you back. Yeah, then I could probably arrange to do a time when you want to do it. But it might mean that there's no one around to watch us. But that's alright, people will watch it in their own time. Looks like the sinuses and all that's going, so there must be people mowing lawns today around. The pollen's getting to me. So if I sound bunged up, flu-y, it's probably the reason. Allergy season going.
Yeah, I had my first COVID jab yesterday morning.
Right.
And I swear, yeah, if I didn't see her put that needle in, I'd say she didn't put anything in me, because I hadn't had one iota of a symptom.
No.
Didn't even
well,
feel
you know, they're
tired.
not injecting. You're not injecting you with the virus itself.
No, it's the antibodies, isn't it?
It's just like the shell of the virus, which has it's got the little spiky bits on it, and it just floats around, and the white cells detect it and go around it, and they sort of learn the pattern to be able to detect it that way. But that's why you have to have a second jab for some reason. Maybe the first learning of the white cells is not good enough. It's a bit like us slow humans. It's adopting complex science and maths and stuff. When you think about all the things that people do in this world and how even a smartphone is made, it would be beyond us. You know, if we're if I was the only person left alive, a scientist or something, I say, well, I don't know. Even if we could read the books, we probably still won't be able to suss it out. It takes sometimes a lot of clever people, more clever than yourself, to be able to suss these things out. And you should be amazed at how much everybody in the world affects your life. So you should be happy. So
certainly
yeah,
should. It's always somebody worse off.
China's got a lot of control over the chip technology and electronics now too, which is a bit dodgy, and we need to bring some of that expertise back into our own countries. UK should have something, and USA, Australia probably, because they got the power plants, nuclear power plants, to be able to drive that sort of industry. Well, China's got a lot of coal, electrical power, and hydrogen, of course. They got those big hydrogen projects, but they also cause a lot of pollution, as you know from the smog you've seen in their videos. But when you think about all the things, the minds that go just into a laptop, all the different brains over the 10s and 20 years or 50 years, if scientists didn't discover LCD and how to get it to work, it'd be a different world we live in now. So we should be grateful that we got this mountain pot of great minds from different countries, different races, all working towards making the human race better. But we have certain people in our world that want to destroy us. They call us infidels and warmongers, and too much religion is a bad thing sometimes, and especially if there's no forgiveness or getting on with people. I think that's the problem. Well, look at the Christian Bible. That was rewritten so many times now, isn't it? St. James has probably got several editions, hasn't it? The Bible. And you can see how they've sort of changed a lot of the terminology and tone in the Christian Bible from hatred to love and getting on. But when you look at Islam, there hasn't been much changes at all, and there's still a lot of hatred in their religious writings where radicals can use it against us. So yeah, so I'm not really a fond lover of organised religion or cult. And
oh no, but it'll always be here, and unfortunately, there's a lot of cultism in ufology now, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And you can guess who the bloody cult leader is? Dr. Stephen Greed. He's the worst of them all.
Stephen Greed. Great.
A stupid C5 device.
Yeah, so that's again going back to angel beings or light beings. You know what I think about him too, and I've got 2 videos where I break down his latest movie. I don't think there was
Heaven's Gate. People still remember that, do they? Heaven's Gate.
No, yeah, sort of. That was in the
mass suicide.
80s, early 80s, was it?
Yeah.
So I can't remember now.
Yeah, it left ufology with a huge black eye.
Yeah,
never mind that. Look at all the people who died.
Yeah, they were meant to be like web designers and technology type people too.
Yeah, some of them, yeah.
They believed in some stupidity where they take poison and lay in beds with Nike running shoes on. So when they die, they take it all with them. But as we know, you don't take material goods with you when you die. You may, if it's real, you may release some energy into the universe, which somehow is sometimes saved or repeated back, or absorbs into atoms and can be saved that way. So yeah, you've heard my theories on that, on reincarnation, how it could be possible. But yeah, we've still got more questions than answers when it comes to paranormal. What apparitions are, what spirits are, whether it's multi-universe breakthroughs, real human spirits, sort of playing back from atoms stored in the environment they used to live. It's really all possible, there'll be some science to it, I reckon. It's just a matter of someone discovering how. I don't think we got the technology there yet. We're getting better and better sensors and cameras to detect it, but to explain it, not. But there's one TV show I do particularly like, which I was really skeptical because it had a guy from Coast to Coast on it. What's his name? David Schrader. I've sort of got more respect for him since he's done that TV show, because he's shown how professional he is and the research he does on cases, and finds out stuff that the previous person that did the case didn't see. And it's called what's it called now? I always forget the name. It's named after the researcher, something Files. What was it called now? Help me out, people. My 50-year-old brain is gone. I know you don't watch that sort of thing, Robert, but that series does have a psychic on it, a pretty lady on it. What's her name now? And I find her really good. I find her really interesting, if it's true what they're doing, because she goes into a room and starts writing down stuff on pad and drawing images that she's seeing, and it matches up with the story of the building and stuff. So it's kind of interesting, whether she's tapping into stored information in the atoms and the environment itself, the woods or the fabrics or concrete or rock or whatever.
It's quite, there's a comment here. I don't know, There's a comment here from Mr. Jasper, and he says, sorry to say, but all hair said to be from Bigfoots turned out to be from bears and wolves during DNA analysis. I'm not surprised, and that just backs up my hypothesis, really, that it's not natural. It's not primates. It's not a physical creature in our world. There's something else going on with Bigfoot. I was saying earlier, like, if it really is a primate, then it's hide and seek, world champ. It has to bury its dead, and it walks around in its own poo bags. I just don't get it being like a living, breathing creature that's indigenous to this planet. I can't get that at all.
I'd say watch Bigfoot Expedition, the new TV series. Season 1 was particularly good, but season 2 was really good, and they did actually find footprints and hair samples. Some of it turned out to be bear and deer, but they said they found one that didn't match any known species. I think that'll come up on season 3. They'll do a recap show.
But then we never hear anything more about it, Paul. That's always the way it is. Oh, we've got this.
Again, I think it's all to do with these contracts.
Wait till the next episode. All will be revealed. Nothing ever happens.
Exactly.
Nothing ever happens.
It's because they sign all these contracts and they can't talk about it after the show, you see, because it's all about money. And I think that's where it all gets ruined by Hollywood. If they did their own filming, right, and just put it all together and put it up on YouTube, that would have immense credibility, I would say. Especially if they had some of the top scientists on there. They can't figure it out, the camera experts, military people they had on that show. But just go and check it out. It's called Expedition Bigfoot. They're using big data to find out where the next possible sightings are going to be, and they got some sort of high-tech connections to the latest military, camera tech and also audio processing. So if they hear a howl in the distance, they can actually predict how far away it is and what direction, and whether they could then run it through a database of sounds and see it doesn't match anything. which is quite interesting.
Yeah. Well,
you
the
know.
best evidence for me, Paul, and you've seen this yourself as well, with David Pileides' documentary Missing 411. Now, at the end of that show, you had recordings of a sound which is apparently made by a Bigfoot. And I'll tell you now, that sound put the chills down me. It really did. It was it was way out there. And apparently that came back as no known animal.
Right.
Nothing known in nature, put it that way. So I don't know, that was good evidence for me, but that piece of tape, I put the chill. Yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't like listening to it. I felt uncomfortable.
Yeah,
it was like a language.
Yeah. Let's see. Evidence. I think we've lost Robert again. He'll probably pop back in a minute. Let's see. Evidence. I think they have a show called The Best Evidence where they go over clips. So let's see what we can find here. We'll just see if he comes back. In search of Bigfoot. So she's a primate expert, scientist that they got on the team. Does anyone believe in this one here though? I always had my doubts about it, because to me, when you look at the face, it kind of looks like a square cutout, in a suit to me. They always got me. And if you look at the hand length, doesn't seem long enough from what I've heard, where the hands are the arms are quite longer. Should go down to the kneecaps. So we were talking about Bigfoots earlier. You can see these guys set up a lot of traps, laser traps, to try and detect stuff. Right, we might have him back. Are you there? Or is he gone again? Let's try to see if there's any Bigfoot DNA proves he's not real. Time.com. Anyway, have a watch of the show. They do catch some interesting stuff, especially on thermal and footprints. And I think they got some hair samples, but because they're way in remote areas, they come back and get it analysed, and it ends up being on the next special before they do the next series. But they got so close to getting some answers on the show season 2. But of course there was the bushfires. They had a big fire coming towards them, and they were just getting some Bigfoots attacking their camp, of all things. And it looked like they were going to catch some credible evidence when they got told to leave because of the fire approaching. So yeah, go and check it out. Let's see, have we got Robert back? No. I'll just drop in and out again. But I think it might be time to say good night. Clicked the wrong thing. Okay. I don't seem to have multiple images. Hey, we got a different colour, haven't we? No, have we got him this time? Hey, we got him back again. So strange going on. It does seem to happen after 2 hours.
I think it's something to do with Jitsi, Paul.
Yeah, it could be. maybe too much load this time of night. I don't know. Maybe other people are using it everywhere in the world now.
Yeah, well, there's no way I can bring someone else on if it's overloading like this with just two people.
But there's no man in the middle. Only for connecting IPs, right? They got a server with the people want to connecting into your room, but you're actually running the software on your PC like you're running on yours. But it could be certain things that interfere with it, like virus scanners. So you got to exclude it from scanning or whatever. So it could be something simple like that kicking in.
It could be, couldn't it?
Yeah.
But Jason makes a good comment there.
Yep. Let me just zoom down to it. Yeah, all the cameras are still no good proof. Yeah, that's why they collect evidence on that show too. Go and have a watch of it. They are professional, from what I've seen. The most professional Bigfoot TV show. You know, I always look at them as gimmicky. Are you still there, Robert? I think he might have gone again. Real alien down interview with opera. Frost giant. Have we lost him again? That's kind of weird, isn't it? Let me just restart it again. Could be something new on my system interfering, of course. Hey, the forces are against us. Yeah, it could be something to do with CPU peaking. Are you there? Yeah, it could be. Oh, we lost him again. I'll just redo it again. I don't see why, but yeah, thinking about it. Then it drops out. Yeah, it could be something going on with Jitsi. Maybe they're doing some online code thing, because it is running on their website, the code. Downloads, runs. Yeah, it seems like something's against us right now. But we have done coming up to almost 3.5 hours, so I think we'll just wrap it up for today.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes, and we can see you.
Okay, but
can't you
can I
see me?
No,
yeah, you better wrap up
can.
before you disappear again. Wrap up in 15 minutes.
I'm just going to say this quickly, and I'm getting the hell out of here because
have we lost him again? I think we may have lost him again. Damn, those men in black are good. Yeah, I'm not too sure what we can do there, guys.
Yeah, I think the system's overloaded, Paul.
CPU's at 63 according to this here. Now we can hear you now.
Yeah, but I was just going to address Jason's question now. Of all the pictures we've still got no definitive evidence. Hello, am I still on?
Yep, I'll just make it full screen. Yep.
Okay, we still have no definitive evidence, and that's such a good statement. It's such a good question. Why? I honestly believe these things don't want their picture taken, you know. I mean, ATIP, they talked about low visibility. And now the UAP task force has called it signature management, where they're getting the data back, that they're getting gun camera footage, but it's turning out blurry when it should be high resolution. They're getting radar returns, but they're not how they should be. It's showing the object moving in a slightly different direction to what it is and at a different speed. So what is going on? I think it's a technology that doesn't want to be caught, called definitively like that. That's the only logical explanation I can think of. It's really all I can think of, because it's baffling. I mean, what there's 4 billion smartphones out there now. Somebody should have a really good picture somewhere, but it's not the case. Something else is going on.
Yeah. I was just watching my CPU. It was peaking up to 100. So it might be that it gets too over bogged down here for some reason. It might be something on that web page I was looking at was interfering. That's why I was trying to close it down.
Could have been that, Paul.
Yeah, but it seems to be running all right now. I think it did close down, but it's not closed down. Oh, there you go. It's finally updated. Just shows how bad we need a better computer system this end. What kind of computer did you get? How many cores? Did you get a 6-core one, or even better?
8.
Is it 8?
Yeah, it's 8 cores. Yeah.
Is it
solid state drive, 8 cores.
Are you sure it's 8 cores and not 4 cores with 4 threads?
Oh, I don't know, Paul. I don't know.
Sounds like 4-core one. Yeah, the latest is 8 or 12 or something like that. 12.
I'm sure it says 8.
Threads.
Well, it costs £900, and it's brand spanking new. It's a Dell G5,
right?
15C. It's a gaming laptop, really. It's
yeah. Yeah, it should be fine, shouldn't it? Really.
It should be.
So
come on, the old laptop was never having these kind of issues,
Yeah, it might have been something it might be something to do with Microsoft Edge, because we're using.
I've removed that.
Yeah, Microsoft Edge might have been doing something that it shouldn't be doing in the background. But anyway, it's the only one that's got a decent reader on it anyway. That's the reason I had it open. As you can see, I use it for my stats and side chat. But that's never been a problem, really. Anyway, we better wrap up if you finished. And
yeah, sure, man. Yeah, just one last thing now from Jason. Have you seen the channel where the British guy captures pixies in the woods? Yeah, that was supposed to be genuine for a few decades before the guy came forward and said that he faked it, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think it was at the bottom of his garden. We might not be talking about the same event, but I think we are.
Yeah. I've been looking at a new website that was given at the end of the last live stream. I'm not sure if you watched it. And the guy's flying a drone around during fires in California and seeing all these strange sort of critters floating around. And so at the time I didn't really have much time to focus on it, but I've been looking at it a bit more. And indeed, it looks like debris from fire from various bushes and plant leaves and even bugs. Because once you get the water moisture out of plant material, it tends to break away if it's burnt and drift off in the air currents. So yeah, I'm probably going to do analysis on his site. They don't like my reply though. But that's how it goes with these people. They were talking about angels and light beings and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, even one was foam from firefighter nozzle. You could see it was a foam. It was like a squirted out thing that was forming a letter 6 as it was floating around. And another one was clearly a black smoke ring, which was floating up with debris and changing shape, right? But yeah, what can you do with those kind of people when you want to tell them the truth and they get upset? But yeah, I'll try to explain it all for them, maybe if I get time, because it takes me a wee while to look over it a couple of times and then visualize what's going on and get all the data, what's getting on, and trying to visualize what plant or whatever it could be that's happening, where it's getting it from. But they're only filming in 1080p 60 frames a second, which is not good enough, even still on drone. You need to do burst mode where you're getting like 8,000 frames a second, then you can see exactly the flapping wings of birds and flies and all that. But whether their drones have burst mode on it, I don't know. I know the professional cameras do, and you can record it until the memory card's full, or a certain number of minutes or whatever. But yeah, so watch out for that coming up. Hopefully I'll do that sometime this week coming, and maybe get back into more of that research stuff that I was looking into. But yeah, you better go and get some sleep. What time is it there now?
25 to 4.
I think it's time to wrap up. It's probably the witching hour, you know, the 4 a.m.
It is indeed.
Have you seen a channel format the ugly laptop and improve your cooling? What ugly laptop? The MSI. He travelled to different woods. Yeah. I will now end it and say goodnight. You want to say goodnight now, or stay on, or?
No, we'll leave now. So thanks for being there, guys, in the side chat. I'll maybe hopefully see you again next week.
Yep, Sunday, but might have to do a shorter show on 11th of October because I got my first jab in the afternoon that Monday.
Yes, you did say
in November, but that's a few weeks away. But anyway, let's say good night to you there out in the corner without you crashing off, and I'll cue the end credits. So next week, maybe have do some of that stuff you said you were going to do, and bring it on the next show.
Sure.
Okay. Sure. Good night, and have a good sleep.
Okay. Night now.
And say good night in the side chat if you want to. And I'll say good night. And start wrapping up here. It should have been going by now. There we go.